Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit that like button as you come in. Hit that like button as you come in. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to the Real Precious. Happy Monday. We are in the Monday after Thanksgiving, the Monday after an Eagles win. It's a good Monday. It's a good Monday for me. How are you guys doing? How was your Thanksgiving? I want the chat to let me know how your Thanksgiving was. I'm gonna go over some of these chats here. I see people are tapping in early, but before we do, we going to chime in with the folks on the panel. Of course, we have my co-host, the actual King Smith.
What up? What up? What up?
All right, and then we have our Pain. So, how was you guys this Thanksgiving? Let us know. The folks want to know.
Start us off, our pain.
I think you're on mute,
You
our
on mute?
Pain.
Hit that unmute button. Hit that unmute button. Dun, dun, dun. You know what?
That's
Why he
fast.
do that? Oh,
This fast.
okay. There you
Go
go.
ahead. You can say if you want to.
So my Thanksgiving was fantastic. It had some highs and lows as I was able to fellowship and politic with my lady, my daughter, and some friends. And then the day afterwards, I attended a homegoing for somebody whose battle with ALS had finished. And we traveled 7 different states over 3 days. So eventful, fantastic. I ate a lot and I'm happy to be here.
I had a great time
Wow.
too.
Mm-mm.
So
Go ahead, our
hey,
Pain.
I'm sorry about your friend
Yeah.
or your family or whoever it was. Uh,
Yep, I appreciate it,
it's
brother.
funny those homegoings. If the person was popular, they always turn out to be celebrations anyway. Kind of everybody
Yeah.
get together, laugh, joke, say
It
hi.
was. It,
Yeah,
it, it, it was, man. I definitely laughed, learned some things, everything like that. So it wasn't all the way somber.
yeah. Yeah,
situation.
those are the good ones. That tells you what kind of life the person live, man. People,
Yeah.
celebrate whatever life they have and get together and kind of be cheery through the sadness. Um, I had a great Thanksgiving. My daughter was over. Her roommate was with her. Just, I cook. I always smoke something on Thanksgiving. I smoked prime rib. I made this homemade
Mm.
horseradish sauce, and I smoked the turkey, of course. And then we had all the trimmings that go along with it. The best part of it is I didn't gain no weight.
I know that's right.
I didn't
Now
gain no weight.
how did you do
Huh?
that? How did
Well,
you
first of all, I can't eat like I used to, and I'm on this journey, right? This is my female side. I'm on this weight loss journey. The only thing I can't put is my wrist. I don't know how to do that. But anyhow, you know what? But for the last 15 weeks, I've been just watching the number of calories. So I ate some stuff, and then I just try to take it easy for the second. No second. I couldn't even finish my first plate. It wasn't even that
I
full.
know that's right.
I'm kind of mad I can't get down like I used to. I just can't.
Mm-mm.
So it was good though. Everybody loved it. So now
Right.
we give away plates after that. Because it's just
Yeah.
more. We didn't even put a dent in all the food that was there. And, give
Really?
God thanks for all the abundance, because the kind of meals that we have, 90% of the world can't eat like that.
That's true. That is very true. Well, it seems like you guys had some highs, some lows during Thanksgiving. I must say mine was pretty much the same, some highs and some lows. I had my father's family coming from North Carolina and his brother, his two sisters, niece,
That's nice.
nephew, and nieces, my cousins. So we had a good time. However,
Oh.
uh, family got sick with I don't know what y'all call it, with which I don't know if we can even say it online, child. They might block my whole channel. But
with with the
with the
C.
C,
The beer, the
huh?
beer virus,
The beer virus.
the beer
Um,
virus.
That's what they
yeah,
call it.
so that was unfortunate. We had a few family members. They went back to North Carolina with it, and so some people were positive, some people were negative, and so unfortunately that happened. But I am thankful that I got to see my father's family. It's been a while since I've seen them because they live in North Carolina, and so that was a good time spending time with my
Oh,
cousins and just seeing how big they got and what's going on in their life, and like you said, just being thankful. So seeing my uncle and my aunts, that was very refreshing. So I'm gonna get to some of these chats here. I see Lakeith Network is in the building. Shout out to you guys. Tarika,
mhm.
I see you. Please hit that like button as you come in, guys. Definitely hit the like button. Share this live with someone. I think we're going to be learning some things tonight. We have the men on the panel that's going to be giving their perspective. I am going to be opening up the panel. I'm going to be dropping the link. So if anyone wants to join, now is your chance. Okay. Q, I see you in the building. He says, good evening, good people. Good evening to you, sir. The actual King Smith is in the chat. We started. We here now. We here now. Dead
Mm.
Pill reacts. Thank you so much for being here. Peace to you, sir. Lady Navoa says, hey, 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 Precious, let's go. And no, a man can't. Okay, girl, just right on in. Just jump right on in. No, a man can't. Just like a woman can't teach a man how to be a man. The closest is to tell him what type of man she like and go from there. That's it, and that's all. She also says now raising a boy to be a man with no father is harder, but women, mothers, we do the best we can to raise them. She's showing love to people in the chat. Thank you so much. Y'all show each other love, okay? We all we got. All right. All right. The NOLA Experience podcast says, I've learned a lot from my man in terms of femininity as it relates to men, but I don't believe men can cover all bases. I'm excited about other perspectives. Thanks for being here, the NOLA Royal Experience. I met her the other day on the Loud Peep Network channel and on the panel, and she was a sweet soul. So I'm glad that you're here. Let's see. Y'all are going heavy in this. Ooh, now y'all know I like food. I done saw the food in the chat. I cooked baked turkey wings, mac and cheese, collard greens, dressings, and candied yams and sweet potato pie. Okay. He said, I got greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, and sweet potato pies. I know that's right. I cooked the sweet potato cheesecake pie, and that was a hit. I cooked some macaroni and cheese. So I see that. I see you. I see you, Q. Whipping it up in the kitchen. Whipping it up
Whip
in
it,
the
whip it,
kitchen.
whip it.
All right. So we're gonna get to it. I appreciate you guys for
Precious.
being here.
One
Mm-hmm.
thing, sorry to cut you off, but
Okay.
I thought that this was important. Tarika, who is a Patreon member, she's been a supporter of the channel. I want to acknowledge her birthday that's coming up this upcoming Friday. So I just want to make sure that she got that shine. She's been one of the fantastic mods on your platform here, and I want to give her some shine now. So Tarika, I know we aren't live on Friday on this channel, but we see you now. I wanted to tell you happy early birthday.
Yes, y'all know how we do. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Tarika. Thank you. We appreciate you. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. It happens on a Friday because you already know when it happens on a Friday. That's like, yes, I can't wait till my birthday. It's when it's in like the Tuesday, Wednesday type where you like, all right now. So happy birthday. Thank you for all you do. And we hope that you have a great day and a new year. So we're going to get into this first video. Again, I am going to drop the chat after the video plays. And then we're going to get into the topic for the evening. Do remember that tonight's live is sponsored by JE Creative hosting.com. So if you guys need a website, you need someone to host it, go over there, use a special code of HCM22 for a discount. But definitely make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel and share it as well. So we're going to get into this. This video is from the Real Restored podcast, I believe their podcast is called. And what they do is they have these like real love scenarios, and we've played them before on here. And so instead of having a mixed message tonight, we're going to have a mixed message within the video. So definitely give your perspectives in the chat, and then we'll drop the chat link for you guys to join.
Hello, I have found your podcast very helpful in opening my mind on many topics. Thank you for your honesty and transparency. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I have an interesting scenario. I'm a 51-year-old woman in a relationship for 2.5 years now. We have lived together for a year and find this new love refreshing and fun after both having been married, worked on our stuff, and raised our kids. I recently found out he cheated on me a year ago and has maintained a text relationship with this person since then. Many of these conversations reliving their encounter and plans for the next. Side note, I am still in good shape, 5'5" and 140 pounds, and was not withholding sex. I need to also mention he and this person have a history and a grown child together who is 30 years old. I confronted him kindly and then took about a week to decide that I would try to forgive him after he said it was a bad mistake. He didn't think of the text as cheating, but he understood where I came from. I told him a non-negotiable was there was to be no contact, and if she initiated any, he would tell me. He agreed. But am I crazy to believe him? I thought this relationship was it. We made plans, moved out of state, and I gave up a really good job to build our future before finding this out. But I am thinking of the cliche, when they show you who they are, believe them. But is who he was before I found out who he is, or the cheater? I feel bad that I'm questioning everything. He says I can have access to his phone, which I haven't done, because am I really trusting him if I do that? I haven't shared this with anyone because I feel like it's ours to figure out. I ultimately committed to a year of trying to rebuild trust in my heart, but I can't help that I feel mad that after the cheater cheats, the weight now shifts to the other partner to get over and heal from the mess. I asked if there was something more he needed from me, and he says no, it was just a weak moment. I struggled to believe that it was a moment because it was very calculated and planned. I do believe people can change, but I mean, no flowers, no extra sorries, and he's done no reassuring. It's just a little disheartening. He doesn't want to listen to podcasts or anything. I'm just needing some more validation because I feel like I'm working hard on my end. Please help me walk through this as objective outsiders. Am I nuts? Should I just cut my losses and begin a new phase? I've been thinking of moving out and starting over, but separating financially after moving will take quite some time. Ain't nothing but some hard work. Thanks for the uplifting spin you put on even the really tough scenarios. Anonymous.
You wait. I thought the guy was going to speak too. So,
You're on
will
mute,
you go
Precious.
first? Huh?
Now I was
He
telling
usually
Precious
just
she was on mute.
he usually just sits there and listen. They clip this part and then they may speak about it in other clips. So what do you guys think after hearing this? She's 51, she's with this guy. They live together and he cheated and it seems as though she doesn't know whether she wants to stay or go.
You have the floor, Mr. Payne.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying not to be cavalier about it. It's one of the kind of things. Now, is the guy a cheater? And she didn't see some of those red flags before at all. Now, here's one of the things about women. I think they get uh, that they got this dichotomy going on. A lot of times they want the guy that everybody else wants, and
Mm,
that's not by accident. A lot of women like guys that are popular, that can have other women, but they choose you. That means that he actually has had other women, and could he be faithful to you? It sounds like and exclusive. Let's assume they had that conversation. So he cheated. Now, it's unfortunate for her that she has to make a decision whether she wants to stay or not. But then I think of women and for men too, but women need to reflect on how hard was it to find a guy like that. And if
mm,
you're kind of a woman that wants relationships, now she's doing an economic analysis, which she should. Should I break up with him because he had sex with another woman? Now, the thing she should be mad at is the fact that he cultivated a relationship with an ex. That's more than him just cheating.
right. And he has
That's
a
more
child
than
with
him
her
just
too.
cheating. So I think she's in a quandary over that, and he's lying. Yeah, I don't think he broke up with that kind of stuff is, I think, timeless. Sometimes you'll have a connection with somebody that they have a kid together too.
Yeah.
That this thing was going on while they were courting, and so she didn't say that in this little clip, but she'd have to assume that he was still seeing her while he was courting her. So she has a decision to make. Now, what kind of life is it going to be, knowing that every so often in the blue moon that he might, hook up with this chick? I know he's not doing it every day, every night, whatever. So is it going to really? Here's where I'm gonna be wrong. Okay, I'm gonna take a chance and be wrong. I think women inherently are only trip more now that if their guy steps out once in a while because other women tell them to. That's what I think.
Mhm.
Because if it's a select guy, you have to assume that he's had a girlfriend or two so he has to make a choice not to cheat. I don't know when he might grow out of it, he might not. So she has a decision to make. I wouldn't tell her she has to stay because of that. Even though I know some women right now going through that and they
Mhm.
choose to stay
Yeah.
through the pain, but they're making the guy pay they're making the guy pay big time.
Right.
The guy's paying big time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but because here's the other thing. On the other way around, I would tell a guy to leave. If she was cheating on him, I would tell a man to leave right away because she's not yours anymore. So
Mhm.
people call that a double standard, but it's not. It's just a different standard. I can't stand when people say men and women are equal in that regard. We're not. It's not true. So I don't know. I wouldn't. Pretty much, I would tell her I'm not the guy to get advice from, because I'm a man and everything I say will be kind of biased towards you staying and sticking it out. Because a guy, because I know what it means. A guy men can love multiple women at the same time. They can serve more than one queen. But I don't think that's true the other way around. When a man doesn't cheat, he chooses not to, especially if he can. I'm not saying accept it. I am not saying accept it. It's
Well,
just,
now,
you know,
do you so you're saying that men can love multiple women at once?
I think so. Yeah,
I
from
I
a sexual
mean,
stand, it's definitely well, let me say love is a strong word.
Yeah.
But making it, because clearly the woman that he's cheating with, he has some feelings for her,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
does that take away from how he's taking care of the one he's with? or what kind of life they're cultivating, how much money he might be spending to put the house together. So, but this other chick is not just one of those, let me put my pants up and split. That's not what it sounds like, right? So he's cultivating that his main relationship, but he's maintaining this other one too for whatever it's worth. I don't know how often they see each other. Might be once in a blue moon.
Would you
He
call
might
that
be one of those
polygamy?
guys. So I'm gonna end it here. So there are relationships that guys have with women that they don't have to see them for years. But if we get in the same room, and we're gonna be knocking boots.
Somebody rocking, knocking
And
on.
that's just the way it is. I mean, and you don't have to be that special for that to happen, man.
Dang.
It just depends on how you hit it. So I don't know. I feel sorry for women with that quandary. I say stay because all the stuff that you're getting from this guy, you're gonna have to break the new guy in too.
Mm.
And that new guy, if he's a select guy, he might be doing the same shit. And men ain't sitting down here waiting for y'all to show up. They're
It's
not.
King's face for me.
And that 51, now to his point, and that 51, like somebody said in the chat, good luck with them odds.
So let me land it there. So I was all around the world with that damn answer, but what can I say?
No, you're good. You're good. Mr. Charles says, don't ask, don't tell. Does she really want to rejoin the dating market at 51 in 2003? 1 month till 2024? I don't know. Go ahead, King. So what do you think about the video?
Okay.
I'm not an expert at reading between the lines, but I've gotten a little bit better about what are the things that's not sled or not said by what she wrote. I think she slanted the question in a way to try to justify why she needed to make a decision versus put in like everything that's out there. And I know, writing things out, you don't want it to be overly wordy or anything. It's best to kind of get straight to the point, which is what I'm going to try to do here. But I think that there were vital things or critical things that she either left out or slanted the question in a way to then ask the host to justify should she stay or should she go. And I think if you get to a point to where you're trying to justify something, to me, 9 times out of 10, it's never really worth the justification. So if you ever get to a point to where you have to justify something, for the most part, just leave. I think you'll come to the same conclusion or bump your head against the same thing that you were trying to justify against in the first place. You want this guy to be extra and feel as though he has to prove himself, and he may not feel like he has to do that. So what I would tell her, dip out and dip your toe back in the dating market scene at 51 and pray.
All right. So I think that for one, it seems like whoever he is having this relationship with probably likes him more than she does. And I only say that because when you really, really like a man, you're not going to question whether you should leave him or not. Because I remember hearing someone say that a man don't have to lie to you. If you like him enough, you'll lie to yourself. Right? So she's taking the logical route. Like, okay, he's cheating. She said that he didn't like really like roll out the red carpet as far as apologies and flowers. And so she's feeling like he did it. He said it was a weak moment and he's expecting her to just get over it. But to me, it seems like whoever and then he does have a child with this woman. It seems like whoever the woman is, he may like her for different reasons than he likes the one that he's living with. And so the one that he's living with is probably like, I don't know. He's just not giving me any reason to believe that he won't do this again because it doesn't seem like she's settled. It doesn't seem like she believes him. He did say that she could have access to his phone, and I don't know how many people are going to do that. I don't know how many men are really going to do that. But if he's giving her access to his phone, I would think that he probably got another one. I'm just kidding. In the cut somewhere. I'm just saying,
Absolutely.
okay, you got to know the game. You got to know the game. But to me, it just seems like she's not convinced. And when you're not convinced, and when a woman is not settled, she is going to definitely the out is going to be what she leans on because she doesn't. Not Q saying in a Doritos bag under the porch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's funny. Go ahead, but you're on the right point.
But she's just not settled. And so when a woman is not settled, like when a man is not making a woman feel secure, that's exactly what women want: security. All right, it's security. I think if
See,
a man gave a woman security, that makes her comfortable, and I think that she's just not comfortable in the situation. And a lot of women wouldn't rationalize it like, well, how is our relationship going? What am I getting out of it? And what's the future like? Because women aren't, we don't see long term. We see short term, whereas men, you guys are wired to see long term because you're wired to take care of other people. So she's not seeing that. And he's not giving her enough short term comfortability in what he did to her. So I think she, her decision is really made. Because like I said, if she liked him enough, she wouldn't be questioning if she should stay. Um,
so can
but
I ask you
I
a
can
question?
understand why she is.
So let me ask you a question about the security part. In this case, what kind of security he's going to give her, that he might leave her for this other woman, or just security and that he won't cheat, right? Because you know what I'm saying? Is it
Mhm.
is which one is it, that she's afraid that he's going to leave her high and dry for this chick, or that she wants security that what he's telling her is the truth? And does anybody really ever believe another person who's cheated on them? You know what I'm saying? Do you ever really get to that level of trust again? I don't
I
think
think it's
so.
like when you throw a glass plate on the ground. You can try and pick up the pieces, but there's always gonna be pieces that you'll
Right,
never
right.
find, you'll never see. You might cut your foot on one piece the next morning after trying to clean it up, right? And so it's one of those situations. It's like when trust is broken, it's hard to put it back together to again like it once was. So
But here's my point.
mhm,
You shouldn't put that trust back together. You got to build a different kind of trust,
mhm.
because you'll never get back to that other trust. No matter what you do on either side, man or woman, you'll never get back to that other trust.
Now
It's
when you say build another trust.
under the circumstance that your guy cheated, right? If I stay, one, I can't forget it, but I have to find a way to forgive you. But we could never go back to the way it was when it was pristine. It just can't. It just that's a battle that you can't win, because you're never going to
Mhm,
forget that the
mhm,
dude cheated on you. So you
mhm.
have to make a decision that whether you're completely satisfied or not with his answer, that you're going to either stay or go. And if you choose to stay, you got to do the things that makes you comfortable in your new reality.
Mm.
And that's what you have to do. I mean, everything else is a waste of time. You're never going to get back to the fact that this guy was busting somebody else's cheeks. It's just not going to stop. It's always going to be there,
Mm, mm, mm,
And
mm.
so, so that's why I think men only do an economic analysis for staying with a wife who cheats on them. Because if they didn't think they were going to get busted in a court, they'd be going in a heartbeat. And I could tell my
Mhm,
wife that if she cheated on me, our relationship would never be the same, anywhere close to it. I would never forgive her. I would never forget. And if I stay, it's only because she put a couple of bows in her hair, take me to court, and I'd be on the street, saying I work for food, you know.
mm.
So that's why I would stay. But her life would be a living nightmare here. You know,
Mm.
so so anyway, so if a woman, so this sister I know that had her husband cheated on her, told me about this story. She decided to stay. And I tell her all the time that at some point you're going to either have to forgive this guy or leave because it's never going to be the way it was before. Just not going to happen.
You know, it'd be nice to actually get someone up on a panel. I'm not saying that anybody watching has gone through this, but how do you forgive after that? We were actually talking about that on my Peep Network on Sunday. People always say, "Oh, well, you got to forgive, you got to forgive, you got to forgive." Well, there's a process to that because
That's
if you're
right.
in this type of situation, to and you thinking about staying in your marriage and your relationship, whatever it is, you're going to need help with that process. That's not going to be something that you could do on your own because you're always going to be replaying in your mind, especially for women. You're
It's,
going to be replaying in your mind any and everything that could have happened, even if it didn't happen. You know, and men the same thing. You're going to be, you're not going to be able to get the image of your woman being conquered out of your mind. So
not
you
at all.
know,
Never.
that type of process definitely takes a third party, a professional third party, a third party that it's not going to, have your business out in the street,
Yeah.
So that is something huge that some people do recover from. So, those are the people that really need to talk to those
Help
that have
other
gone
people.
through it.
How do you do it? I mean, they had panels like that, but you hit it right on the nail on the head. The guy, me, I could never get the image, right, of my woman, giving up to somebody else and knowing that if she's gonna do that, there's no holds barred, man. She's letting this dude do everything under the sun he's doing. She
Mhm.
ain't going over there for missionary, you know. So that image will never leave my head. Or how much fun she was having out of somebody busting those cheeks. I could never get over it. Right. So,
Mhm.
I mean, at least I'm honest about it. I mean, I admire men who can forgive their women for that. I think they're
Mhm.
crazy,
Mhm.
you know. I just think I don't know how they do it. And no
Are
amount
the,
of third party could get me out of that.
Mm.
I just know you got to know yourself. So I'm just being honest with it. And listen, I'll give you this. I talked to my wife, right? I believe she didn't do this to me, but I said, listen, if you ever have, don't ever let me find out.
Mm.
Take it to your grave. Don't give no deathbed, confession that you want to clear your soul while you're on the end, honey, let me tell you one last thing before I go. Please don't. Just don't, And if I'm going, don't confess to me either when I'm dying. I don't want to spend eternity knowing. I'm crazy that way. Hell with that. I didn't spend all this time trying to get a loyal woman to know that she's let somebody else have fun. And no, can't do that. So
Woo.
women, I think, are different because women are wired different than we are. I'm not saying it's fair, but women are wired, especially with a guy who's select. They kind of understand that he might have a girl. It doesn't make it right. I think women are a lot more forgiving than men are.
Mm.
A lot more forgiving.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Sean, welcome to the panel. How are you, sir? It's been a while. It's been a while.
Hey, what's going
Good
on, Sean?
evening. Good evening. What's going down? How y'all doing?
hey,
Doing
what's up,
good. Have you
Sean?
been here for the whole conversation?
Nah, but I did hear the question, how do you forgive? Uh
Mhm.
well, the way I look at it, are you forgiving the sight of somebody, as Payne said, busting the cheeks? Because if that's the case, then unless you had a version, somebody busted them cheeks open. So that's just you playing mental games with yourself, as far as I'm concerned. Because if you're gonna go that deep into it, as far as just the busting cheeks part, then find a virgin. Otherwise, somebody or several people have done that before. And
No,
if
Sean,
yeah,
let me just cut you up. I don't care what she did before me. It makes it the whole world is different if she says she's my wife and let somebody do
well,
it.
that's
I
the
know.
I
I think
understand what you're saying, but that's a mental thing, and that's what I'm
of
trying to share with
course,
anybody
I
who's
come with
dealing
you.
with it. That's a mental thing because, quite frankly, if what now to your point, and I agree, the deception is hard to get over. I get that, but as far as busting the cheeks, you don't care, but it went down. Whether you want to care about it or not ain't really a matter. The point
I
is, it
disagree.
went down. I know you disagree, but the fact is, it went down whether you liked it or not. Now, you don't want to envision it. You don't want to think of it because whether it was your wife, your girl, or
I,
whomever, it went down.
I
But the
hear the
point
point you're
is,
trying to make. I hear the
yeah,
point.
but I see your point. It to me, it ain't about who hit the cheeks unless I'm dealing with a virgin, which there are not too many out there.
No,
So
but
it
see,
ain't
I
about that
disagree
with
with
me.
I disagree with your assertion as where it comes to me. I had that conversation with my fiance before we got married. You know, so yeah, I knew she wasn't a virgin. And I knew if she had one or three or four guys, one of those guys could have been the alpha dude knocking it out, right? I didn't care that much about it as opposed to whether she was still able to cleave to me as her husband and me accepting her as a wife. So all that stuff in the past didn't really bother me psychologically because she wasn't mine. But as soon as she said I do, the same kind of things that she would, the only thing I told her, all that shit you learned, I better get that in marriage. But I said, listen, the fact that she said I do to me, if she had sex with another guy, it wouldn't be because I couldn't see the fact that she might have had sex before. What makes a difference is that I do and the vows makes all the difference to me.
And I can
It has nothing
understand
to
that.
do with her being a virgin. It has nothing to do with because we accept women who are not virgins. So you're right. That psychological piece doesn't bother most men these days, especially in the West. It's when
I,
they say and commit to you makes all the difference in the world.
I agree. And to me, one of the things that I say to everybody, men and women alike, it's not about what you do. It's usually about what I find out you did, especially as in a relationship. Because if I'm laying next to you every night, and let's just say you made a mistake, and I had to find out about that mistake outside, that's like double the whammy as far as I'm concerned. Because psychologically, that's what really is pulling at us. It's not really the specifics of what they did, but it's what we had to find out, the deception behind us having to find out, the betrayal of them doing it in the first place, the cowardness and them not being able to tell us, and the sloppiness of us having to find out.
Well, and the potential of the paternity of your children. You
Now,
know,
if I mean, you're going to the fact that they
That's
got
a huge part.
yeah, they got they got pregnant, or now you're questioning. But again, it's not the fact that what you found out that they did with that person, it's the fact that you just can't trust nothing they said now. And
Mm.
that's
it's
really,
all of it. It's what they did too with the person.
I mean,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. But to me, that's how I get through it. If in fact I was to have to get through it,
I
because
hear
I
you.
just
I hear
go
you.
to the point of, you know what, you were not sacred prior to me meeting you, similar to what you said. Now I deal with what really is bothering me. And what's really bothering me isn't uh who was pounding you out.
I'm
What's
with you.
bothering me is your betrayal, and the fact that you sat there and you deceive, you manipulate. I mean, there's so many things that start, like you said in the past, go on through my head now because of this thing that you could have fessed up to and been woman enough to just say, you know what, I messed up. Similar to how some men do it when they mess up.
So, Sean, you're saying that you would want her to tell you, whereas our pain is saying, "Don't even come over here with that."
No, 'cause I'm never going
I
to.
agree. I mean, Payne, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think his position is he just don't want it done. Period.
That's right.
So I can understand
Yeah,
that.
but if it is done, he's
That-
saying, I don't want to
Don't
know.
tell me.
I don't want to
That's right.
know.
and
Don't
I
tell me.
challenge that to many people, although I could be wrong. But to me, not knowing
No.
isn't a resolution. Not knowing isn't going to really fix or mend anything.
I
It's
You're
just
agree.
right.
I
going
agree.
because what's done in the darkness will come to light at some point, and that will be more devastating, especially if it went on. Because now they could say, "Well, you said you didn't want to know."
No. They can't use that against me. I will not gonna let a woman gaslight me. The point is that I don't want to know, and because there is no resolution once I do know. I'm telling you that we're not going to be able to resolve it because I'm never going to accept my wife back. It's just not going to happen. Never. If she was some girlfriend somewhere, yeah. But if she's my wife, there's no path back to reconciliation.
And
None.
I can't sit
None.
here and dispute that, Pain, because I'm not married. So I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
sit there
Oh,
and speak on that specifically.
I can tell you
I
why I
have
didn't.
been in
I can tell you why I didn't
relationships.
cheat. I can tell you why I
Mhm.
didn't cheat. Right? Because I'm not a select guy where women come up to me and just want to give me the booty. Right? If I was to fool around with a woman, I would have to cultivate a relationship. And I think doing that makes me a double cheater because I would have to somehow get this woman to accept me as a married man and cultivate. And, and once I start, and this is going to sound crazy. I mean, women tend to like me if we get to that level. So she's going to have feelings for me. I'm going to have to keep that for my that's really cheating to me. So I said, listen, I stayed with just my wife because I couldn't, and I said not because I couldn't cheat, because I wouldn't cheat, because I know what I'd have to do to betray her. And the betrayal wouldn't be a one night stand or something like that. It would be a cultivated relationship with another woman. And that to me is even more patently unfair. So I stayed celibate. Then I found out it's not a big deal, right? To have just one woman, because I had a small window of having a playing a field before I met her, and that's enough. And I learned a lot about women doing that because I try to take a little bit from every person I encountered, uh, and that was enough. So all these years, it didn't really make that much difference because I wasn't that kind of a hound to begin with.
I don't know if you know Mr. Charles, but he said, "Come on, R-Pain, just go by the Section 8 community. You'll get some extension." Y'all are on one tonight. I promise you. I promise you.
No, man,
Woo,
that's funny.
Lord.
Hey,
So we
Sean,
have
I do understand where you're coming from. No, I do.
Divine Black Crone. I think it's out. Crown. I don't know. Help me out. Is the reason why the cheating happens plays a role or is a factor towards forgiveness?
No, not
No.
for me. No. Last thing I
Okay.
want
Can
my
you
wife to
repeat that
tell, I
question?
cheated. I cheated because you can't really, you really don't know how to perform. She did a DJ envy for me. I faked the orgasm for 10 years, so I had to go find somebody kind of really hit it right.
Mm.
So no. I don't care what the reason is. I don't, I really don't.
Same.
Sean, would you like to chime in on this one?
I agree. There is no reason other than you were cowardly and weak.
And Divine Black Crown also said, what about emotional cheating? I think Arpain kind of described that if he said if he was to go out and cheat, it would be more emotional driven, that which would lead to physical
Yeah.
cheating. But what about emotional cheating if a woman doesn't, she doesn't physically have sex with another man, but she cultivates an emotional relation because women are more emotional anyway.
That work husband creeps in.
Right, the work husband.
That's
but
interesting.
that's a good one. Go ahead, Sean, if you want to go first.
Well, why that's interesting is because work husbands and cheating to me is when you don't know about it. Often to eliminate that, let's just say you wanted to have a work husband or wife, introducing them to your spouse kind of gives a little balance to it. But when you're sneaking and you're telling everybody, oh, I got a work husband other than your spouse, that's that emotional and that bull crap cheating right there.
Okay.
Well,
Do you think women run around saying they have a work husband?
Absolutely. To their girlfriends, absolutely. They always do.
Really? Wow.
I do too.
That's
What?
funny. Go ahead,
I
King.
think that everybody else knows about the work husband, but the actual husband.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why it becomes emotional cheating. Because
Well,
if your husband should know everything, there should be no reason why anybody outside your house knows anything outside your house, outside of you.
there's some
I agree
people.
with
There's
that.
some people who think in this modern age of women seeking attention, is that attention to women is like a man having an actual physical affair. Like,
And
how do you account for Sierra coming out butt naked with her husband standing because she wants attention from other men? And sometimes that attention is that feeds to her piggy bank. Whether nobody else could touch it, but she gets her fill from men, oogling over her, and
that,
maybe she goes home and dissipates that with her husband. But
hey,
so that's an emotional kind of thing, if you ask me. So,
I don't know.
but
That's a little touchy for me, only because she had a career before him, and part of her career was that, and he
no,
knew
no,
that.
no.
But
Before you make an excuse
uh,
for it, I'm not discounting that, brother. I mean, I'm taking that to account. There's, when a woman and a man say "I do" to each other, some of the things out of your past you have to give up. Now, you're
Mm,
right. He probably says, "For that, I know what my wife needs. She needs that kind of attention," and that's how I think he rationalizes it. Because no matter how sexy she dresses, I think he's the only one who has access to her, and that's enough for him. And the only reason why I believe that that's true because they're 3 babies in now, right? And there's no scandals out there that she's actually doing something with anybody. So he could take the fact that she's butt naked. Well, a guy like me, I couldn't do that, right? So I don't. Sierra and Russell Wilson such a bad example because both of them are select people. She didn't need to be married because she's not a typical baby mother. That kid would have had a better life whether she was married to Russell or not than
regardless.
95% of kids out there. And he's not a typical stepdad because absorbing her son was actually absolutely nothing to him. Matter of fact, he's a better father to her son than Future ever would. So I think we use them as an example, but they're not good typical examples for anybody to follow. I mean, well, to aspire to, but maybe not follow because most people can't do. So, but the emotional part is a good question. I think when women get emotionally attached to another man, she's telling that guy my business. She's telling that guy our business. To me, yeah, that's like cheating. Nobody's supposed to know what's going on in our household. Nobody. And if you go to another man and you're telling him what we're doing, his motivation is to bust those cheeks at some point. He's going to get you to the point where your guard is all the way down, and you're over his crib or he's somewhere with you, and it's inevitable before he's knocking it out. That's how that works. So,
This is true. This is true.
hey, listen, I'm warped. What can I say?
This is true. Got Slim says emotional cheating leads to physical cheating. King in the
Yeah.
basement says shout out to the Section 8 304. Black Lexicon says no one is immune to falling to temptation, but if you value everything, she or he is more than their reproductive organ. Forgiving with conditions is easier. Lady
Nah, it's
Novea with
about.
the
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Lady Navoa, excuse me. This is fire though, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Divine Black Crown says men often cheat because of physical pulsion, and the lady often don't mean nothing to them. Is this considered as cheating if no emotion is attached?
Yeah, it's cheating.
Let's just really break that down. What is cheating? Cheating is being deceptive to someone else. It doesn't
Right.
matter whether it's sexual, whether it's verbal, whether it's being deceptive. And yes, if you're being deceptive with another chick, yes, it's cheating. If you're being deceptive in any form of way, if you're lying to your person, yes, it's a possibility that can segue into cheating.
Yeah, no
Okay,
argument
so it's
here.
deception. It's
Yeah.
deception all the way around.
There's
Alrighty.
no, just, you know, we try to say it, but there's no real layers. If you're stepping out on your spouse, either way you're stepping out, the end result is kind of, the result is really what you're doing. So everything else is just kind of wordsmithing the activity, I think, you know.
Girl, you saw me up here struggling. Navoa. Navoa. Up here struggling. Black Lexicon says cheating is a great conundrum amongst Christian, Muslim, Jew, and atheists. Mr. Charles says once we open our hearts, we start opening our parts. I never heard that.
Oh
Cheating.
my God.
Okay, I said that. All right, so we're gonna get into the video of the evening. There's two of them, but the main one we're gonna get into, and then the other one is just a mere pretty much dictation of what we're talking about in the first video. But before we do, if anybody wants to join the panel, I did drop the link. I believe I did pin it to the top of the chat. So if you'd like to join, definitely let us know and we will get you into the show. I do have to see your face backstage to make sure you're real. Okay. All right. So we'll get into this. And it's, can a man teach a woman how to be a woman?
Teach you how to be.
You feel like a man can teach you how to be a woman?
Yeah, I do.
A man can teach you how to be his woman, but
Well, yeah.
come on, give it. I'm for real. Not a woman in general. I feel like that's something that you learn on your own journey.
If you date the right man, he can show you how to be a good partner. All women do not know. And you can get with a man who don't necessarily show you how to be that person either. There's so many people who got married at young ages and they just did that shit because they felt like that's what was right.
How can I love you properly?
Yeah.
How can I be an asset to your life? These are the conversations I want to have. The woman I was for this man is not going to be the same woman that I need to be for you.
Yeah.
So these conversations are need to be had
Because a woman and a woman in a relationship are two different things.
things.
There are things that you say and you don't say. My music is crazy. Still speaking on real experiences and real feelings, they might just not be present at the time because I'm in a relationship.
Alrighty. So before I go on with my questions, what did you guys think about the video?
That there were points in there that I agree with, and the main one that I agree with is the lady that said that a man can't teach a woman how to be a woman, but a man can teach a lady how to be my lady for me. Because what you did to that other dude that made him happy, the tricks and things, the spinning or whatever that, y'all might have had going on over there, that might not be my jam. That might not be what I like. So yes, he can teach you how to be my woman, but can't teach you how to be a woman.
Okay.
You want me to go next? Listen, I heard what she said because I keyed on that one too. Whether I can make a woman be something that I want doesn't mean that she, just because she does what I want doesn't mean her baseline is a woman. I think that for her to be a woman, naturally a woman, feminine, some things like that, she needs to learn before she could get past my vetting process, right? It has to be something there for me to cultivate, right? 'Cause I'm not about to be changing women because they had a previous boyfriend and all this other kind of stuff. I want you to be the kind of woman I need you to be when I meet you, and then we can start talking about how we can mesh together, do the things that we'll have to do when we grow our family, grow our future. But all the baseline stuff needs to be there as best as possible, because I can't teach a woman how to be feminine. I can't teach her how to have respect. I can't teach her how to be exclusive. I can't teach her how to understand that she has to provide access and all those kind of things. She has to have some of those basic things for me. And then I could go and start to groom and mold her to the way I want while she's actually doing the same to me. You know, I'd have to be a man who could provide. I have to be a man who's stable. I have to be a man who, is respectful to her parents if they're around. So these things are something she couldn't give me. So there's some things that I can't teach her that she needs to come to the table with, or else we're not gonna mesh.
Okay.
So that's my answer.
Okay, you touched on some things that we're gonna go over. How about for you, Sean? What did you think about the video?
Can a man teach a woman how to be a woman? No, simply because a woman don't listen. No, I'm just joking. But no, in seriousness, there is some truth to that. And no, we can't treat you how to be a woman, but we can give you a lot of virtue. We can give you a lot of principles that can help you as a woman when it's regarding a man. We can teach you about how to deal with a man, what to look for in a man. But again, most women don't listen to men in that regard. And so, can we do it? Yes, we can. I mean, teach them how to be a woman. No, but can we help them be a better woman? Absolutely. Do we always? No, because sometimes, often, they don't listen.
Okay. So I have a few questions for you guys and for the chat as well. Again, if you'd like to join the show, just hit the link in the chat. But I have the first question, which states, how does a man know he's a good teacher? Because you all said, okay, I can't teach her how to be a woman, but I can teach her how to be my woman. Well, this could be your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th woman. So how does a man know that he's a good teacher?
For me, real.
Right.
Okay. Who was gonna go first? Is it you, Sean?
Yeah. What I was gonna say is it's real simple because the funny thing is those who don't know you, you're usually better at giving advice to, and they will tell you how valuable and how much they value it. But often when you get in it regularly or when you're close to a person, you take that information for granted. And so you don't really take heed to it, i.e., how a child might do with their parent. So, how do you know? Because you see the results in people who have shared how valuable the information or the advice that you have given to them has been for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, some things can't be forced. I believe in the adage that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, or else they can't receive the information that you're giving them. Like, so there's a couple of things that I don't know if I was a good teacher, but I know when I was courting my wife that we had conversations that probably still shape our relationship today. Whether she learned to change, she didn't have to do that much changing, but a lot of stuff she was prepared to do. Like, a couple of things, like some simple things like, listen, we don't have to try to put on airs with each other. How are you, when I'm not around? How are you, how do you move when you're around other people? How do you handle, issues in your life? All those kind of things, I need to know those kind of things because they're going to manifest themselves later on. So whether I was a good teacher or not, I don't know, but trying to force information on people is a little bit different than them needing to hear what you have to say. And usually when people need something, and they really want to know, they'll ask you. Like, you know, I had the adage with our kids. I said, when they can ask a question that makes sense, then I think they deserve an answer.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so that's where I come from. So I don't really consider myself such a big teacher for my wife that way. But, you know, when it comes time to saying, listen, we need to handle each other, and this is what you need to do to be with me, if that's teaching, uh, she was receptive because we went through the conversation, you know, and we're still together. Now, you know, she seems to be happy. Was satisfied, or she living a life of quiet desperation. I just don't know it. I don't know. You know, it's been a long time. So, baby, if it's 36 years wasted, I'm sorry. Yeah. But she's in it now. And the only reason why I know she's cool because she goes to sleep so easy.
I know that's right.
She
Okay,
goes to sleep
rest.
so easy.
She gets
Anyway.
the rest.
That's because you don't wore her out, man. She
Ooh.
tired.
Yeah, well, you know.
Grooming and Reviews
Yeah,
101. Thank
Grooming,
you
what's going on, Grooming?
for
Hey, what's
joining
going on,
us. How
guys?
are you?
I
What's up,
see
bro?
everybody's doing well. I see King hasn't grown an inch yet.
That's right.
So, did you see the video?
No, I didn't. Actually, I was running a little late, so no, I didn't. So if you could
Alright,
play,
alright.
it'd be very kindly of
All
yourself.
right, I'll play it again.
You feel like a man can teach you how to be a woman?
Yeah, I do.
A man could teach you how to be his woman, but
Well, yeah.
come on, give it. I'm for real. Not a woman in general. I feel like that's something that you learn on your own journey.
If you date the right man, he can show you how to be a good partner. All women do not know. And you can get with a man who don't necessarily show you how to be that person either. There's so many people who got married at young ages and they just did that shit because they felt like that's what was right.
How can I love you properly?
Yeah.
How can I be an asset to your life? These are the conversations I want to have. The woman I was for this man is not going to be the same woman that I need to be for you.
Yep.
So these conversations are need to be had
Because a woman and a woman in a relationship are two different things. There are things that you say and you don't say. My music is crazy. Still speaking on real experiences and real feelings, they might just not be present at the time because I'm in a relationship.
All right, so the question that we're diving into right now is, how does a man know that he's a good teacher? And you can speak on the video if you like.
Me personally, I hold a standard. You have to at least come into understanding that standard. I understand you might not know everything, and that's okay. You can learn as we develop this relationship to whatever it becomes, a marriage or whatever we decide. But you coming in not knowing how to become a woman, or you just know the street, not cool. Because I've been down that road already with trying to teach a woman, hey, get off the street and become a woman, and it just backfired in my face. But can you teach her some things? Yes. I'm not expecting her to know everything. Like, she might not know how to cook. That's where I come in. I teach her how to cook, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But can you teach them? Yes. But you cannot make her a woman, if that makes sense.
So when you said that you tried it, right? You tried to take a woman in off the street. Was she homeless?
No, she was little ghetto street. Not homeless. Like, she was like, gang banging and that stuff. I'm talking about like street. Like, yeah.
Oh, she was from the streets.
Yes.
Okay, got you. All right. So you tried to take someone in off the streets, and you tried to teach her. So why don't you think it worked?
Because once the relationship ended, she went back to her old ways immediately.
Okay, so the question is, how does a man know that he's a good teacher?
Precious, I want to jump in because I answered that question, but my side, when you play the video again, it's because I get a little bothered when women just sit around and talk to women about men instead of talking to men about men, because they give each other horrible advice and they don't teach each other anything. And so, to your question, yes, we can teach you not how to be a woman, but we can teach you how to better deal with a man. And that's
Mhm.
really what we're here to do.
Right.
And that can make you a better woman. It might not make you a woman or teaching you how to be a woman, but we definitely can give you some insight on how to be a better woman for a man,
Mhm.
which a woman cannot do.
I think the question is a big catch-22 because it depends on the situation and on the man and on the woman because I cannot sit here and answer that straightforward. Let's say, you know, I was dating Ashley and then Jennifer and Michelle, whatever. I'm just throwing names out there. If those all three scenarios are completely different,
Mhm.
it's so hard to answer that question. Can I teach a woman to be a woman? I can teach her how to be my wife. If that answers the question, I cannot teach her to be a woman because a woman, that word is so big. I can't sit there and give you a straight answer on that.
No, but Sean is
Yep.
correct the way he put it. You know, he's correct. When women talk about women and what they interpret men are like and what we like, they a lot of times they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So, you know, but women can give good advice to each other. Like there was a video that had this one sister telling another sister, you know, you got 3 kids from 3 different baby daddies. Maybe it's time for you to close your legs. You know, maybe it's time to, you know, maybe and none of them guys are paying child support. None of those guys are doing this for you. You know what? Maybe it's not them, it's you. You're picking these guys who are the scum of the earth. So what is in you that makes you gravitate to men that ain't shit? You can't keep using the excuse you didn't know,
Right.
right? So, you know, with that kind of advice coming from one woman to another is actually the kind more women need to start doing.
Mhm.
You know, and maybe preferably before the 3rd kid's popped out from a 3rd different baby daddy. You know, so you know, so there are some things that women are good at telling other women. They just don't do it enough. They don't do it enough. You know, and that's one of the problems. Not that not that the sister's gonna listen, but the fact is they need to hear it from women. I think sometimes women are the better teachers of what women need to do than men are. Because,
Mhm.
like you said, everybody knows women don't give a shit what we say. Not in general. You know, men are
But
just like we sound like the Snoopy. What's that? The Peanuts guy.
Womp, womp, womp,
peanut.
womp, 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 womp.
And in fairness, you made a good point. Welcome, James.
Yeah, what's up,
And
James?
what's up?
Hola,
But
James.
you're making a great point because, and I agree with you. Women do receive information better from other women, just like men receive information better from other men. Why that is psychologically, I have no idea, but uh, it just happens to be that way more often than not.
Hey, Precious, I'm going to
Mhm.
say that I just simply don't like this question. How does a man know he is a good teacher? The best thing that I can do, and really the only thing that I could do, is I can communicate my desires, my wants, and how I like for things to be ran or done in my household. The second part of that is the lady's willingness to hear what it was that was said and her desire to want to do that. Now, I could be a fantastic teacher or a communicator and explain to you what it is that I need, what it is that I want. But if you're not willing to do that, it doesn't mean that I was not an effective teacher. You didn't have the desire to do what it was that was laid out. I could still be a fantastic teacher, but you didn't have the desire to follow through. So it's tricky asking how does a man know he is a good teacher or not. I think it falls to the man's effective way of communicating and then that lady's desire to want to do.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, she definitely has to have a desire to want to listen and things of that nature. But we're gonna get into that later. James, welcome and congratulations to you and Lady Di on your 100K,
Congrats.
making that
100K in
100K.
these
Congratulations.
YouTube streets.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
that's nice.
yes.
Great.
Appreciate it, man. We had a great time with King, man. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. But you said so the question, how does the man know he's a good teacher? I would say it depends on his results, right? So a lot of times a lot of women don't want to go down the path of a man, right? They just want their way. So a lot of times a lot of women have to take the back seat, because if you want a man to be a leader, sometimes you got to let him make his decisions and watch how he's making this decision. If you never watched him make a decision, how can you actually trust him to make a decision? Right? You never did it. It's like a scientist. A lot of these different inventions that we have, or these things that we love and enjoy, it's been tested. So if you're not allowing things if we didn't allow them to test things and say, no, you can't do that. Oh no, you can't put a object in the air and let it fly. And you know what I mean, it's going fast. We wouldn't have planes right now, still to this day. And then we'll be probably on a horse and buggy everywhere. So we have to, as a woman, this is some advice for women. Hey, if you don't believe that he's a great leader or teacher, let him do it. And then now you have evidence of him not being an actual teacher or a leader. You just can't say, I don't like this idea. No, because a lot of times where that man idea is going, it could be something positive, but you didn't allow it to happen. So now you sit in a situation complaining. So
I hear that, James. I got a little pushback to that. And my pushback is not to you. It's to the concept of proving something to a woman. A lot of times, what you just described to me is that they want you to prove something. And why should we have to prove something? Especially the people who haven't proven anything to you.
And that's the point. We both got to prove something. So she has to prove that she's modest. She has to prove that she can bring peace. She has to prove that she can stay in shape. She has to prove that she can bear my kids. She has to prove that she's gonna stay loyal and faithful. We both doing it. It's just we just looking at it from different aspects. And then you being a leader, you have the more of the charge of, hey, I got to make sure he can make the right decisions and stuff. That's why the father back in ancient time, the father chose which man was going to be, to be in that woman's life, because now he can see like, okay, I like the direction this brother is going, so I'm gonna allow my daughter to marry him. So instead of the woman choosing, so that's why we have a lot of these problems too as well, because they kind of can go for the bad boys. And I've seen some of the people in the comments talking about that too as well. So now that kind of stopped that issue from happening. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, my concept is I don't ask for anybody to prove anything to me. I trust you until you give me a reason not to. Is kind of the position that I stand from, because I'm not sitting there trying to be evaluated. I'm not trying to prove anything for you to trust me. Either you do or you don't. That's not going to change my actions. My actions are going to be consistent, and you'll learn that as you get to know me. So time will show if that's what you need. But in reference to having to prove to you that I'm worthwhile, worthy, valuable, whatever the case, whatever you're looking for me to do, I'm not asking of that from you, and I don't expect you to ask that from me.
I think we on mostly the same page. I think it's just like the little small detail, but I think we both kind of saying similar stuff, but because the woman's going to do it regardless, and she's going to know you that dude because of what you're doing. So you really don't have to, I guess, I'm just saying like take a test type of deal, but she's going to be doing it. But I get what you're saying, bro.
Yeah, and I'm not, like I said, it wasn't a pushback to you. I push back with women often. And I share this with them. I say, yo, you want me to prove something to you, and I don't have no reason to. Just like, for example, you're not trying to prove anything to me. And if I ask you to prove something to me, you take offense to it. So let's be clear. Why is it that you feel that I have to, a lot of times, well, I got to get to know you. And I'm like, all right, well, that's cool. I can understand that and I can respect that. But to what extent, what does that actually mean? what are you going to get to know? You're going to get to know what I provide to you. So if it's really a pointless, senseless concept to me, simply because you're only going to get the representative. And if they've been doing it for a long time, they're going to do it well. And they're going to deceive you and disguise themselves from you, as many in the past have done, for the reason why you're even asking me to prove myself.
Well, is it, I mean, are the words prove yourself really used, or, is that what you are expecting when you're in these relationships? Meaning, when I hear prove yourself, I don't mean, or I don't hear, oh, let me do this to make sure she know, or let me do this to make sure he know. Proving yourself is you literally being yourself. So you're going to prove that you're a great man, or you're going to prove that you're a lazy man, or you're going to prove that you're a go-getter, or you're going to just do that by being you. And whether it's the man or the woman, you're going to be observing those things and taking those things in, and seeing the man and or the woman for who they are. I don't think it should be something where, it's you need to prove this to me. I think, I don't know, that sounds like internet
To,
rhetoric,
to
but
answer your question, it's not said prove yourself. Those words are not uttered.
right.
It's done in other ways. It's well, I don't know you that well. What are there's certain little conversations and certain things that come up that really imply I need you to prove it to me. And it's implied more so than spoken. And to me, I'm like, you don't have to imply it. I actually nip it in the bud ahead of time. When I see a sign of it, I say, okay, so you want me to prove myself to you, huh? And they laugh. No, I'm not saying that. But yeah, you just asked me a question that really is saying that you really don't trust me, and you're trying to find out whether or not I'm trustworthy. And if I'm not trustworthy, I could finesse you. And if I am trustworthy, you got to take my word for it anyway. So what really is your strategy in approaching it from that way? And like I said, it's not proving yourself specifically, but that's what it boils down to, and that's the implication of it.
So when you say, when you come to this realization that she wants you to prove yourself, and what type of scenario is this in? Because you're either going to do what you say you're going to do, or you're not doing it. So what type of situation is it where it's just like, oh, you want me to prove myself? It's like, maybe she's at the point where you're not being who you say you are, or you're not walking in that light. But I'm
No,
only asking, I don't know. So
okay,
I'm
no,
asking, like,
no.
what?
It's usually on first dates and first conversations. And a lot of times, women, for example, or people, for example, say, I'm an open book. You can ask whatever you want. And then when you start asking questions, they start backpedaling. And like, well, that's too personal. I'm like, well, okay, you the one who said you can ask what you want. Now you're backpedaling. Why is that? And then I will get into that. Well, I don't know you that well yet, and so, and I'm like, okay, so what is it that why are you not being transparent? What is it? I use that often, open and transparent. Thank you, Precious. I said, so what is it? You're being honest, because I appreciate you're telling me you don't want me to know. Cool, that's honesty, and I get it. But why are you so reluctant to be open and transparent? And then that's when it starts segueing into, I got to get to know you better. And so that's where, when I got to get to know you better comes up, then that means that you want me to prove that I am not who I say I am, or I am who I say that I am. Because getting to know me better, what does that actually mean? Time, vulnerability. I'm already opening up to you. I said some things that a lot of people find shocking. Like, oh, whoa, that's too much information. I said, no, I'm just being open and transparent.
That comes with life, though. It's kind of like you could walk into different territories. You're gonna you're gonna question like, hey, am I safe in this neighborhood? Hey, what car should I drive? You got multiple cars. Like you always gonna like question different things in life, and that's just kind of like how we are as a people. We always like to question things like are we safe? We feel comfortable. So that's women's nature, especially if they had been in a bad relationship or they felt like they was there wrong. And a lot of guys do it too. So I think it's just kind of like how we are.
When you're afraid, you're right.
Yeah,
When
most
you're
people are.
afraid, exactly. And so I confront that. I confront that fear and say, hey, if you're a man or woman of God that you say, because that's usually where we do speak about, if you're a man or woman of God, why are you fearful? You're contradicting that whole concept.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna change most people.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I
asking them
mean,
to change.
I hear what you're saying, Sean. I mean, in the first meeting, if someone is telling you that they're an open book, and then you start asking them questions, and now they want to close the book, I don't think that there's anything that you need to do to prove yourself. I think that they're just lukewarm and they don't know what they want. But I don't think that that has anything to do with you proving yourself. I just think it's someone just not really being who they say that they are. Um, but also, there's an element of when women are, again, I'll say this again, when women are comfortable, there's not much that a man has to do extra. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to jump through hoops. You don't have to try to prove yourself. When she's comfortable with you, she will talk. She will open up. She will, do those things just because of the comfort level that you're providing. But we're going to get into that. Good evening, Lapeef, JR. How are you this evening?
What's going on? How y'all doing, panel?
Good, good. Thank you so much for joining.
Hold on, bro.
Were you
What's up,
watching?
bro?
Were you watching the video, or did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw it. Played a couple videos, right?
Yeah. Did you want to weigh in on this one, or did you want to go to the? I can go to the next question, and you can chime in on that.
Go to the next question. I chime in.
Alrighty. So, I have the question: can a man teach a woman how to be a woman, and in what ways? You guys pretty much said, "Hey, look, I can't teach her how to be a woman, but I can teach her how to be my wife," which makes a lot of sense. In what ways do men teach women how to be wives? Because I thought that would have maybe have been a mother trait, a mother who is a wife, which teach her daughter how to be a wife. But in what ways do men teach the woman that they're with to be his wife? So I'll start with R. Payne, since he been married longer than King been alive.
Well, the very, we put it in this succinct term, how do you be a wife? Essentially, everything is a negotiation in terms of, not everything. It's a negotiation on how you want to live your life with the person that's going to be your spouse, your wife, in my case. The only square that I was standing on is that I'm going to be just assumption, the leader of the household, right? I buy the house, I want you to make it a home, right? If you're working and I'm working, I'm going to do some of the things. Like, we never had an issue on who cooks and who cleans and all that kind of stuff. These dumb conversations that we have on these panels, they're really a sickening, right? If you have your honey out there working 40 hours a week like you got to do some shit around the house. It's as simple as that, right? When the kids came, we didn't have to, argue over that. She's going to be up with the kids mostly because she's got the mammary glands. But every so often I'll say, listen, honey, we got Milk Express. I'm going to get up and I'll feed the baby in the night. You stay and sleep. These things shouldn't be heavy on anybody. I wash my own clothes. Been doing that forever. Not because my wife couldn't do it. It's that we're on different schedules, right? I count my clothes based on how many clean drawers I have left. If I don't have no drawers left, I got to wash clothes. She might have a different closet. And, I'm not going to have her clean my clothes and fold them. I could do that myself. And, and I'll do it in a time where it's not taken away from anything else. When my kids got old enough to use the washer and the dryer, we taught them how to do it. You know, so I have a man cave and an office. I don't ask my wife to clean that. I do that. So these things that people talk about on these panels just absolutely stupid. Finances, I run the finances, but I teach her what I'm doing. Right. I talked about this on this panel before. I mean, I'm kind of anal about that kind of stuff. So I have a flow chart where all the money goes. And she sees that. Now we go over it every so often. Right. So where the accounts are, what's this, what's that, So if I'm not here, this is how you're gonna maintain. And with a few notes here and there, with all this stuff. I mean, so we just kind of go through life. When we had the kids, I had to have a couple of conversations about the kids, right? So my wife she was still living at home when I met her. Her mother was one of those Southern ladies, very domineering, but her father was part of the Southern flight to the North. He was one of the he was in that generation of men who led their family out of the South looking for better opportunities up north. And the rest of his family followed him. He was like the leader. So he was married. So she was kind of traditional. She had a curfew. One day I kept her out all night, and I didn't even get laid that night, right? I came back home. Her mother and father was sitting on the couch, and they ripped me. I'm 27. They ripped me a new one. And then so I'm looking around at her, right? They're just talking to me. She was nowhere to be found. I'm in there getting ripped a new one as a grown. Guess what? I never kept her out all night again. And we were already engaged. So so she was kind of traditional, and so that made my job easier. And I don't envy the guys today because you're not going to have that kind of dynamic. But I refuse to hear anybody tell me there still aren't good women out there. They're just too lazy to look for them. Because every woman looks like a piece of meat. And that's why if a good woman came to them, they couldn't recognize it if they saw it. So that's just the way I see it. So anyhow, I don't know if I was reading off the question. So I didn't have to teach her how to be a wife. I had to teach her how we were going to get together, and that was enough. And she was receptive to that. And so that's how we meshed. Hey, so let me land it there.
Alrighty. So she, it seemed as though she was very, for one, she grew up in a disciplined, structured home. It sounds like I know that life, where you have curfews and your parents into everything that you're doing. You really don't have a lot of privacy,
Right.
So she was groomed to be a certain way, and then she had a covering. She had a father.
Yes.
So, like you said, when they were ripping you a new one, she was out the way because you were covering her while y'all were out, and you had her out too long. So the slipper done fell off, and it was past midnight.
The only thing they didn't have is the pitchfork that you see like that old picture. That's the only thing they didn't have.
But rightfully so, because if he's going to lend her to you for the night, have her back at the time that he says. And so, that's just another depiction of the standards that she comes from, right? He's not going to
it made it easy, no doubt.
give her away to someone that's not going to hold high standards in his home or have discipline in his own home either. So
It's sort
that's
of
what made it
like
easier
lends
for
to that
you.
proving yourself, what you guys were talking about before, because you can't
Right.
escape it. If you really want something in your life, hi everybody, hi. And
Yeah.
there's just some things you have to prove yourself. If you want a master's degree, you got to prove yourself by showing up every day, putting in that work to get what you want. And that's usually the case for most things for people.
Facts.
Can't get away from it.
Welcome to the Panel White School podcast. It's been a while since I've seen you, so it's good seeing you.
Welcome.
It's like what Arcane was saying, like sometimes the panels, it just gets too much and all this rhetoric, you just don't want to hear it anymore because it's just the same hamster wheel of
Well, we got
discussion.
room over here for you, girl. We got room over
Hey,
here for you.
I'm
Okay?
here. That's why I'm here.
All right,
Hey,
so who wants to
everybody.
go next on this? How do you teach a woman to be your wife? Because you all pretty much have unanimously have said that you can't teach a woman how to be a woman. So how do you teach her to be your wife, and in what ways? I'm actually going to change that. So who
Well,
wants to go next?
interestingly enough, I joke with a lot of my women friends that I'm their interim husband. And the interim
What?
husband
Why do you
because
joke this way?
technically I really do fit in because they're usually single, the people who I'm speaking about. And I usually fit in as the voice of reason. I do pretty much, I will give them some of the balance that a husband will give a wife without any of the privileges that a husband gets outside of that. And so I tease them about it because I invest a lot of time, I invest a lot of energy, and I invest a lot of effort into doing so. And often it's really about giving, again, the balance that they sometimes forget about in their singleness. They forget about being considerate of a man's thought, position, and or his perspective. And so therefore I lend that perspective often. And that's how I do help women be wives in that regard. Now they sometimes don't like what I'm saying because I am a straight shooter, and they sometimes like to get what they want when they want it, how they want it. And I remind them of that. I say, you're just spoiled right now. You just want it your way. And I'm the friend that's not going to give it to you your way. I'm going to give it to you directly. I'm going to give you straight talk so that you can have straight understanding. And so that, to me, those 4 words are really how you can help a woman become a good wife. Because to me, a good wife is somebody, as we always speak about, and you coined it for me, honest, open, and transparent. And so is a good husband. So I just remind my women friends uh, to continue to be, or try to be, honest, open, and transparent with those men. And I'm like, if you're having this conversation with me, there should be no reason why the man who you're giving sex to, you can't have it with them. And I confront them about that. I question them. Why can't you speak to them about this? It makes no
Because
sense.
Sean, you're making yourself readily available for them to do so. What do you mean?
No, but I'm saying they literally are laying with the significant other, whoever that is, and I'm like, yo, why can't you talk to him about this? He's available to sleep with, so why you can't talk to him? It's because usually they're afraid. It's not about their availability. It's about their fear, their comfortability. And I'm like, you're comfortable enough to have sex, but you're not comfortable enough to have a conversation? It makes no sense. Interim husband.
Sean,
don't
you have
call
to get out of
yourself
the
that.
friend zone, buddy.
Don't
What
call
was that?
yourself that. Don't
You
call
have to get out of the
yourself
friend zone.
I mean, well, put it this way. I'm not trying to get out of friend zone because I'm very particular about who I am. I'm not trying to just spread my seed. If that was the case, there's plenty of people who I could spread my seed with,
A
who I
peacock,
could
right?
have fun with. Absolutely, who I could be a peacock with. So that's actually, it's more challenging not to be a peacock than to be one. It's more challenging not to, take
Once again, Sean,
advantage
me
of
and you
these
agree
ladies.
on this 100%.
Have any plans to resign? Excuse me. Let me tell you something. Dr.
Excuse me. And I agree with Sean because oftentimes when you're on these panels and you're interacting with men and you're in their presence, I mean, just being around and having conversation makes it easier to have conversation with men, I found. And not that you're trying to sleep with them, it's just that you're trying to get to know the way that they talk sometimes. And sometimes getting over the fact that the direct way triggers you in some way to make you feel some type of way, you have to get over that because really he's just, telling you his opinion. And so that's not to be shot down, that's not to be micromanaged on how that made you feel. Like, no, just actively listen. Um, and 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 in these places, it's like I think that men teach us how to be wise is to, they let us in, but the directness helps us because a lot of women are not they're used to leading their own ship. They're used to driving their own cars and things like that and leading their own lives. And then when it's time to start interacting with men, it's at that rough place or that they're not open or they don't want to ask the questions or fear of leaving the dude or like they get this apprehension when actually that's the time they need to push themselves out of that comfort zone. If they're sleeping with a dude, they should be asking him and qualifying him. That kind of ups your standards as a woman when you start, trying to get to the root of everything. Because when at the end of the day, as women, the reason why we miss out on being wise is that we're not being proactive and intentional with the men that we are with. Therefore, we gotta ask Sean or people like that have some intelligence. Oh, what about this? What about that? And he gives you the answer, but we don't want to hear it because we're just used to getting that thing, And
Right, but that's why I said that Sean probably, and this is just my opinion, you do what you want,
mhm,
but you probably should back away from doing that because this woman is gonna be having sex with her man, right?
mhm,
And she's talking to Sean,
mhm.
but she's not using what Sean is saying with her man, which means that she has this emotional bond with Sean, but she
Right.
don't have this emotional bond with her man. So to
Mm.
be her interim husband, to me, honestly, is messing her brain up because as a woman, she is using you as a crutch to be to see that emotional side of her that her man can't see, but he could bang her down though. He could spread them cheeks though.
Well, the
Like, you know what
funny
I mean?
thing
Like,
is,
But that's not a bad thing for Sean because he,
well, of course
I
not.
won't say it's not interim husband. I say big brother. You know what I'm saying? I don't say
Yeah,
no
it's
husband
the
because if a
title.
man is stepping in to help me in a sense, in a way, like I see him as a big brother, a mentor type of thing.
But
So, eh,
Sean said husband.
he
and,
Yeah,
did.
I
the
disagree a little bit.
funny thing is, I want to say this to Grooming, what you said, get out of friend zone. Actually, that's why I have these conversations because I am a friend and I ain't trying to get in their panties. And I make that very clear. So it can be a big brother to Stephanie's point. I mean, to wife podcast point. But the point is that regardless of wherever you want to stand or sit in it, I'm being very straightforward. I ain't trying to get in your panties, but you letting all these
Yeah.
knuckleheads get in your panties,
But
and you're
Sean,
sitting. Go ahead.
But Sean, let
I
me
get
say
that.
this real quick to you, right? Precious is right. What you're doing is noble, but you're stunting that woman's growth because she's taking her emotional energy from you, and now she doesn't have to grow that with the guy who's knocking it out because she's getting it from you. And women, listen, women use if the 4 P's were real, there's women who get the P's from 4 different men sometimes because men allow. If you understand, some men are for protection, some men might be for procreation, another man might be for the provision, and another man might be for the problem solving. And if they can't get the one man to get that, they'll get it from the
Another
men that
man for the
can't get it
penis.
from.
Well,
Right?
that's
Head the other
and
P.
I hear your point, but nah, the way that I design it is no, because quite frankly, I challenge them. I tell them, yo, you a fool. If in fact, yeah, you're doing that, you're the fool. And I
But what happened the
also
other?
wait. And I also, before I start talking about that man, I said I invite that man in to talk as well. I said, get him on the phone. I don't want to speak about nothing with him if he's not here. So let's get him on the phone as well, because if this is the man you quote unquote are married to or thinking let's go ahead and have this conversation with him, not without him.
Listen, let me tell you, my
How many
wife.
times have they came
Listen,
on?
okay.
I was just asking how many times did they actually come on the phone and talk to you?
Several. I've spoken to. As a matter of fact, most of the women that I know who have actual men who claim in men, I speak to them because I don't want to be that person that their man have to be concerned about. So out of respect for their man, I said, get that man on the phone. because you shouldn't be speaking to me if you have it. Now, the interim husband comes in with those who are single and don't have a man and just getting banged out or whatever they're doing. But the people who do have a man, I don't even like having a conversation without the man being involved.
And so they man actually engage in a conversation with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had several conversations with couples, the men after they have had, because I don't want to be that person that is in their woman's head talking nah, get your man on the phone. Because the man will find out I ain't siding with her. As a matter of fact, I'm probably challenging her to do better.
My question is to you: has it been the other way around? Like a guy like who the fuck are you talking about women about my personal shit?
That's actually often it starts off there, and I answer it. Who the fuck am I? My name is Sean. Blah 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 blah. And I've been a friend to this person either before you knew them, after you, whatever the circumstance is. And I'm just straightforward. Now, if they're uncomfortable with having it, I let them know that I said I requested you be on this phone so that we can have an open dialogue, because I didn't want to act as if I'm sitting here talking junk about you to your woman.
No, I get it, dude. I just from my side of it, from how I'm hearing it, I'll be a little weird. Like, okay, I know the guy, I know the name, but the guy's talking about my personal relationship with a woman, with my woman, and I will be like, who the fuck? I'm gonna slap him, or I'm gonna turn back to sperm.
Well, if that's part of the problem. If you don't know who I am and I'm having these conversations with your girl, your relationship already on the rocks. So why are you questioning me? You should be questioning her.
I would say that if she having a conversation with you, then I already probably say it's a problem, because she shouldn't be having no conversations with nobody about my personal relationship, to be honest. So if she's having conversations out there, it must mean it must have been a big problem that was already existent, and there's a lack of communication, and she's seeking some type of comfort from somebody else because she can't get it from her husband or a man.
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying that you're wrong, but there's a lot of men that play that position and they just sit back really praying. Like if you could guess, if you offered to have sex with any one of these women, do you think they would have sex with you?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, no.
And I made my point exactly. That's the problem.
It's not such a bad thing, because a girl can ask James a question. A girl can ask the actual king a question. I can talk to our Pain. I can talk to our Lapeep. So what's the problem? It's not an issue of trying to take it further and things like that.
But that's the way he's coming
how she's going about doing it. It's how she's going about doing it.
That's right.
Like if he has to tell her to call him, call your guy, get him on the phone, it's already a problem. If she's going to have conversations outside of that, she should probably be speaking with him and say, you know what, I can't communicate with you. We can't seem to get to the bottom of it. I want to bring somebody in to kind of moderate it. I have this person in mind. Well, let's go here. But if she's doing it behind his back, then she's already out of line, in my opinion.
And the point is, wife school. The point is this: my wife wouldn't. Listen. I can't imagine a girlfriend of mine or a wife telling me I need an outside man to arbitrate what's going on between me and her. And that's to me, that's unfathomable, right? Because it's like JR said, shit's already broken. Because my wife,
so you can talk to a pastor. That's the outside. So no pastor, no therapist.
No, she's not outside people. It's a pastor or a professional. That's we're talking
some women
about.
Hold the pastor like that too.
We're talking about a dick slinger like Sean.
You gotta be you gotta be cautious about everybody, man. Pastors,
that's right, yeah, but like everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Don't relegate it to just regular men. Sometimes there's pastors, sometimes there's therapists. Yeah, right. So come on, let's keep it real. Let's keep it all the way real.
Let's keep it real.
I think it's what the problem is. What a lot of men are going to have with this type of conversation is because it's like you are trying to overthrow my house. So you're going out to another man to get a second opinion, rather than valuing my opinion, right? That's kind of like me bringing another woman home to you and say, hey, this is how I want you to look. You're going to be like, hold on now, didn't you marry me? Why you didn't marry this woman? You type of deal. So it's more on the line with that. And then with the pastor thing, most of the time that's a couple's thing. So if you go into your couple, you're gonna be a pastor, y'all should be doing that together. I think with Sean, it was kind of him was doing it by himself. That's why a lot of the brothers was kind of like, you know what I mean, saying that's kind of, you know what I mean, a little iffy, whatever. But I kind of see what Sean is trying to do. He's trying to provide that support, but some of the women, like he just alluded to, some of the women is gonna take that and see themselves with him. And it's not like he's trying to do it. It's just like in our nature, we're gonna be like, dang, I don't got this at home, so I want it. You know what I mean? Just like some people want a Lamborghini, but they ass work at UPS. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, some things you can't do, you know what I mean? But yeah.
So,
And I
so
also think
can I
that
ask, go
with
ahead.
people, before you go, White School Podcast, so with people like Sean, like people, even myself, people who are just good at being people's people, right? And being able, other people being able to be comfortable talking to us, we have to use extra discernment, because people will try to get things from us or get in the way in our presence or whatever you want to call it for selfish reasons. And you have to be able to discern if you're going to be helping people, if you're going to be, trying to be that reasonable, what do you say, the reasonable person, or the person that, is pretty much giving you the real. It has to be straight up and down. It has to be very black and white. It has to be, I'm not talking to you past no certain time. You're going to have to make an appointment. You're going to have to join the Patreon. You're going to have to, there's going to be certain things that you're not going to be able to do, because I already know the gift that I have. And everybody is not going to nurture your gift like you are. So you have to be the person to be like, yeah, I can give you this advice, but I already know you just an energy sucker. Like, you just want my time. You just want my, maybe you just want to talk to me, but you don't really want to listen. You don't really want to put these things into practice. So why am I going to waste my time doing this for you or doing this with you if I know that you really don't mean it anyway? And I'm not saying that the case with Sean and his friends, but I know women as well. So
I agree with you, Precious, and sorry to interrupt you. But to the point that you're making is that the reason why I'm even on panels is because I was doing this I've been doing this almost all my life. And so I wound up saying, yo, I'm sitting here talking to you all this time. There's been times where I said, man, I wish I would have recorded that. Man, I wish we had an audience, because it wasn't for just their therapy. It was exchanges and lessons that I was learning in as well as helping with. And it wasn't something that and I knew the time and energy that I was putting in. And I'm like, and when people start using that time, I also call that out. Like, yo, I have cut people off because they have been abusing the time, and they're just sitting there when it's convenient. They want I'm like, yo, go call your man on that. Leave me alone, because I don't have all that time, and you're at this point taking it for granted. You're now using me, so to speak, and I'm not here to be used. I'm here to be helpful where possible. But when it starts becoming you're using it, it's kind of like anything free is not valued. When it's not valued anymore, you don't get it for free.
Got you. Hank, welcome to the panel, sir. How are you?
Good evening, all. How y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good. Have you been listening in on the conversation?
Yeah, I've been listening while watching my miserable team lose.
Oh.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, my team's doing pretty bad this year too.
God damn.
The Bears lost? You was watching?
It ain't over yet, but it's just about.
And Precious, if you say anything about Eagles, I swear God, I'm jumping through the screen.
I'm looking in the group chat right now. I said this shit is terrible. It's not all on one, but damn. It's like any way we get out of 4 TOs and struggling to stay in the
Look. The Eagles, how you want to tell me not to talk about the Eagles? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
you need another OC. You need to get out quicker. Yeah, you need another situation. They going crazy.
How much time left, Hank?
It was like 3-something minutes left when I seen it.
It's a brave soul to watch that game.
You ain't
So,
never
so
lying,
what you think about what you've been hearing, Hank, on the panel so far?
I'm disturbed, man. That Sean's out here saving hoes. I mean, that's exactly what Sean doing.
Why did I know you was gonna come up here and say that, Hank?
Man, I'm like,
Hank
this
said
dude's
today
out
again.
here trying to work wise. You coaching them up, man. Yeah, you got to turn that heifer over to the streets. Sean, you can have her. I don't need what I need that woman for. Look, it's a circle of two. I say it all the goddamn time. Not everybody's going to involve in my stew. Why? You're going to mess around, put some bad ingredients in there. So it's a circle of two. We're going to figure this shit out somehow, some way. Now, if we can't, we're going to marital counseling. And we're going to get that figured out somehow, some way. We're going to work it out together, me and you. Sean don't need to be involved. Why is Sean involved? Why is Sean having these conversations? Why are you allowing Sean to have you? I can't hold Sean. Sean gonna do what Sean gonna do. I got a fault. I got to look at you, and I got to put blame on you, woman. I made a mistake by picking you. If you my wife and you doing this shit, you ain't no damn good to me. So now I need to not only go to a marriage counselor, I need to go to a priest, because you need to be prayed over with some holy water and a crucifix, because you a goddamn Exodus, and I got to get that demon up out of you.
And Hank, to your point, a lot of times that is the case. I am not the person who's creating the problem. I'm the person who's identifying it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
No, Sean, you
does it
part
get
of the
fixed,
problem.
Sean?
What was
Sean, you
that?
part of the problem.
Yeah, like I think James made a good point. And men need to understand this if you are in relationships. It's not necessarily Sean has an agenda, but you'd be surprised how women have an agenda or they begin to develop one. And so when they're coming to Sean and Sean don't want to talk to them, they're coming because they feel comfortable speaking with you. And I used to work at the railroad, right? And there was a lot of little side relationships that was going on. Everybody knew about it. And I knew these people were married and they were having work husbands and work wives. So they both was going through things at home. And they sit together all throughout the day, walking, lunch dates. They spending more time with them in the workplace than they are at home. And eventually over time, if both people allow it, they start to get a chemistry going on. And then next thing you know, it's like, hey, I'm going out to this work event and that person is there and they're getting a little bit of car action and then they're going home. I've been kind of keeping in tune a little bit and been hearing a little bit of noise from there. But from my understanding, I think one of the people wound up getting divorced. And it probably has something to do with that. So it's not necessarily Sean drop off?
No, I'm here. I had to switch back.
Okay, shit. I'm like, damn, the hell? Who's this new guy?
It's Sean.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm not faulting Sean, but I think you need to take just a deeper look to understand from the woman's perspective and how she is. Like, I think women are really easy in the mind up in most cases, and you can influence them in a way just by communicating with them in a certain way, especially if they're not getting it at home. So you just got to just be mindful of that. And I know your intentions are to help, but the women start to like that, man. They start to like it. They start dreaming about you. They start, anytime they got an issue, they want to come to you. Anytime they get some good news, they want to come to you. And if you got that open ear, it's only a matter of time. Sometimes that flesh get weak, Sean.
I mean, I hear what you're saying.
For a single man too. A single man at that night. He was married.
If I was a married man, would it make a difference? Let's be real. It wouldn't.
Why you just giving your trouble to everybody? No, I'm just kidding.
And if you was a married man, you wouldn't have
Just
all that
become
time.
a life coach,
what I'm
get
saying is
certified, and you'll be out of all this mess, and nobody can talk about you, right?
The reason why I
Because
say
they're
that is because you just described exactly how it happens with married couples. So let's not. The issue ain't the other person. The issue is with that person who is giving or who's seeking that attention, and that's what I bring to their attention. You have an issue. There's no reason why you should be seeking my attention instead of your husband or your significant other or the person pounding you out.
Yeah, but is this the one? Is this a one-time message, or is this a?
Usually, by that time, when I start getting to that point and I start really challenging and confronting them on that bull crap, they don't want to hear me no more. Then it's like, whatever, and they want to get off the phone because, and I get that, and I'm like, all right, cool, go speak to your man about it, go speak to whoever, because quite frankly, you got the issue, you're seeking attention.
But do you hear the words you're saying, dog? You confronting
I know.
Man. What type of shit is that?
It's the truth.
How you confronting a married man?
Let me answer it. Let me answer it, Hank.
We ain't got no goddamn relationship at all, and you gonna confront me?
I'm very confident
upside your goddamn head.
And guess what? That's cool. Then that's your insecurity
that
coming
shit ain't
out.
cool. What the hell you mean?
I mean, to me, I don't just challenge the woman, I challenge the man too. If you feel that you got to go upside my head because your woman, then you got an issue and you need to confront that.
No, what are you talking about? First thing first, this man, you're going to go call some man, some stranger you have no relationship with. What do you think the first thing going to go through his head? You knocking his wife off. No ifs, ands, buts about it. You knocking my goddamn wife off. Oh. Now, what do you think is going to happen? Either a man gonna whoop her ass, or he gonna whoop your ass, or he might whoop both of y'all goddamn ass. Or he might whoop goddamn OJ.
Okay, can it go the other way around too?
No, dog, because you ain't gonna see it coming.
Okay, why wouldn't I?
Like everything's good.
Okay,
and then it's not gonna be good. Stop doing that shit. I hope you're not doing that now.
Men are naturally territorial, so it's just going to be a problem anyway.
I hear that, and I challenge men on that. I'm like, and I confront men about that because I confront men about that. I'm like, yo, man up, man.
Listen, Sean, you can listen to the words you're saying. The guy has a woman.
You gonna play it back tomorrow?
And all that. You know, it's just you gotta. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but in this matter, you gotta just understand where the dude's coming from. Words like confront and all that kind of stuff. What are you talking about? This is my honey.
Sean, I'll be honest with you. Sean, I'll be honest with you. We're gonna be fighting back like in Sparta. Like only one surviving out of this. I'm throwing your ass off the mountain too.
Well, I'm like this. I'm too old to be fighting. So kill me or I'm gonna kill you. I'm too old to be fighting.
I'll give you that.
That's part of
That's part of you not get involved in a situation like that.
Well, the whole thing is,
unless they're your family member, there's no way you should even have a conversation.
Let me answer the question. Why do I get involved? Because I feel, again, the same way that I will confront the woman about some of the challenges, I confront men too. We need to learn better and get better. If in fact you're choosing somebody who I'm not sitting here judging one way or the other, but this is your choice. And I tell him, like I tell her, this is your booger.
You're judging that man. You tell him, you challenge him, you are judging him.
How you figure?
Do you not hear the words you sit there and say? You confronting him.
Something. Let me say something, make it simple. If I was dating, grooming, and reviews, and he had some attributes I wasn't too sure, and I came to you and say, hey, what does it mean when a man does this and that? Is that a bad thing for me asking you to vet certain attributes regarding this man?
Let me push back here.
Or am I asking for advice?
Now let me ask you a question. Are you
as
married?
A single woman? I'm not married. I'm talking about single. Let's just keep it single because
that's different.
Okay, so is that okay? Is that justified?
I'm even if my son, my daughter, once she got married, I said, I'm no longer going to give you any advice anymore. That's between what I taught you before and prior. Now, what y'all need to work out is between you two and a marital counselor or your spiritual advisor, whichever one you decide to go to. I'm not going to get involved to a marriage situation that I don't need to.
Wait.
I'm not.
Can I
Unless
stop
it gets
y'all for a
volatile
second? Can
and
I
it gets
stop y'all
violent.
for a second?
Okay,
When did
JR,
it get to
we just
when
won
did
a
we
game.
wait? When did we get into a marriage? Who ever said
We
that they were
just
married?
won a game, JR. God damn.
Who? Wait. Let's back up. Whoever said that they were married?
Oh
Because
wow.
Yeah,
if
we
you
got 10
came on
seconds left.
earlier,
We got
the
10 seconds
whole
left.
premise of it,
No time left.
the whole premise of it was me joking about being an interim husband, which implied they are not married. So let's start there.
Sean, you said some of them. Sean, no,
I
we're
didn't.
gonna
You
stop
said
right
someone
here.
was
Wait.
Because
married.
you said some of them
Wait.
was married, and you said some of them weren't married.
Come on.
Wait.
Yes,
Interim
sir.
husband. Listen to what I'm saying. Because maybe I said it
No, we done
incorrectly.
listening. We about to go on to the next
We got
question
some.
because
If
Yeah,
I
I
we
heard
said
what you said.
your blood,
You
boy.
said that some of
Yeah,
them
you got
was
some knowledge.
married
You
and some of them
backpedaling now.
weren't.
I said people that I was having conversations with, not interim husband.
You're right, Precious. That's like boy. But you should have saw how Groomin lit up when Wife School Podcast used him as an example. It's like he was all lit up, you know. I sit there and look at my man's face. Can't say, there you go. You still
No,
got it,
but
Wife
it's
School.
true. We do need men that we trust that can help us understand the ways and characteristics of a man. If your
That is
father is not there, if I trust Hink enough, like because he's solid, I've seen him be consistent in his own life, I'm gonna go to him. I'm not gonna go to anybody else that's gonna enable me in my BS and I still continue in the same way, which won't allow me to even transition to be a wife. You know what I'm saying? So there are different ways, us going back to the questions that men can, teach us by their words, by their instructions,
So
um,
you're
to help
saying
us understand.
you're
Huh?
saying if your father's not around, you have no uncle or grandfather, right? Is that what you're talking about?
But yeah, talking about like that to help
Okay.
vet through the process of
I would advise
finding a
you to
man,
seek.
because often we do it and we mess up a lot. So there's nothing
I
wrong
would
with it.
advise you to seek the knowledge of an elder woman who's married and is previous in a healthy relationship. That's what I would tell you to do. That would be my advice to you. Men should be teaching men. Women should be teaching women. That would be my advice to you.
Yeah, but sometimes, men play
I wouldn't
games,
try
right?
to.
Men have games, and we need to know what that is from a man, not from a woman. How would she know? She don't have the mind of a man. So there's some aspects of relationships that
But she
I
has
would
that
have to come to.
experience. That
That's fine. But
experience.
that's your father. Now, you said if there's no father in place, I need to go find the thing closest to that. There's nothing wrong with that. As we know, in a balanced relationship, you need both a male and a female perspective. That's what a child observes, right? So if I'm just getting it from her, that's cool. I will. But from a man, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, and I respect your opinion. I don't agree, but I
It's
respect
okay.
your.
The compromise, it depends on what kind of conversation, what kind of questions you're asking. See, that
right.
what you
Yeah.
said makes sense. It depends, but it definitely depends on the kind of questions you're asking. Because
Yeah.
there's some things that as a woman, only a woman can tell you for you to understand, even if it's in a relationship with a man. But if you want to find out how a man behaves in a certain situation, well, maybe those kind of questions might be better from a man.
Thank
But
you. That's what I'm talking about.
So that
Yeah.
actually leads us into our next question, our next pregunta.
I was gonna say, can I
Um,
say something about that last question? I'm sorry,
oh
I
yeah,
didn't.
go ahead.
In my bad. I was gonna say, honestly, where men can actually teach women how to be a wife, right? And it's because be your wife. I wouldn't say to everybody, and I would say because a lot of times what we forget to do is we have to make sure the engine, like we building the engine, right? You building your foundation as a man, you doing what you're supposed to do, right? Sometimes you get injured, sometimes you get hurt, sometimes you get sick, sometimes hey, you just tired, you need somebody else to help you out, and that's that woman's job. It's been many times, me being in the military, my wife, we have business on the side, you know what I mean? I had to be gone for a while, so she had to make sure, you know what I mean, stuff was taken care of. So, but if I didn't train her from when we first got into that relationship, she would have crapped out. That's the issue my mom had went through when my stepdad was running his stuff. A lot of the stuff couldn't do, or she didn't know how to do, and she wasn't 100% into the business. And once, you know what I mean, he went to jail, you know what I mean. you know what I mean, she couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So she had to file bankruptcy and give all the houses up. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things as men. We have to make sure that woman can be on that program and she can run it too when you have to step out. And then now she'll feel more involved into that family. She'll feel more like a unit. And then now she wants to feel like the odd person. Now she is sitting over there looking stupid. No, she has a part in the business. She actually, you know what I mean, doing something a part of it. So that's what one thing I think that could help for a man teaching a woman.
I definitely agree with that. Thanks for adding that. Because inclusion is everything. Inclusion is everything. It's how you get things done. Alrighty. So the next question, the Wife School podcast actually was bringing it up, and we were talking about it with Sean. Do the men of today have the patience to teach a woman? Because like the Wife School podcast was saying, there are a lot of women who do not grow up with fathers. They don't grow up with that discipline and structure in the home. And so they don't have a lot of the teachings or a lot of the principles or a lot of the foundations that some women have when they do have that in the home. So my question is do the men of today have the patience to actually teach a woman? We know Sean has the patience of Job, and he gonna get the job done. But are other men feeling the same way? You know, how do other men play their part in this whole ordeal? Whoever wants to jump in first.
Yeah, I would say just with that. Look, I'm gonna be real controversial with this. If I was a man, I wouldn't date a woman who doesn't have a father or a father figure. I would not date a woman who doesn't have a father or father figure. Leave her to the shines. Don't deal with them. Because that woman will not respect you as a man. She will not appreciate you, man, because she don't know what it is to deal and have a man. She has no idea. She's learning on the fly. And most men really don't have the patience other than Sean. We know what Sean's really trying to do. Sean's trying to I'm not. We know it's what he's really trying to do, but you know, that's a different story. I would not date a woman. No, I would not. I would not encourage my son to. I would not encourage my little cousins or nephews to do that. No, I wouldn't encourage no man. As far as teaching a woman, yeah, it depends on what I'm gonna have to teach her. Hopefully, I don't have to teach her how to cook. Right? Not at my age. I'm 48. My woman's longer than 40. Hopefully, she has some sense on how to cook. And if she doesn't, that's a problem. But you know, if I have to teach her about finances, I'm gonna be a little hesitant. But I'm gonna definitely have to make sure she's all the way right. Especially, you know, I'm all about one pot, and we're gonna do our thing. Little stuff like how to deal with certain things around the house, I could expect it. Around deal with your car and stuff like that. If I'm not around, I don't have no problem with that. You know, some of the what I consider simple would probably be something like doing algebra 2 for her. You know, it's an issue. Then I'll be willing to do it. But simple stuff like maybe cooking or something like, oh gosh, come on now.
Something just to kind of piggyback on Hank real quick is that I agree with Hank as far as it is probably better to have a father figure, a role model, a father within the household when it comes to a woman. But make sure you have deep conversations with that woman, because it could be something that came in between that before she got to you. So she could have had a father in the house. Maybe he wasn't actively involved. Or she could have had a father in the house and then she had a traumatic experience in between before she got to you. But you won't be able to discover that unless you have deep conversations. And don't be afraid to inquire about the woman that she was in her previous relationships as well, because you can be able to tell a lot just by that. Some people are timid. They don't want to hear about those things, but you can learn a lot about her previous relationships. The key word is previous. I need to know what happened. If I can, in some cases, you might want to reach back out to that man because you might get a different version, but I know that's probably not the case. But just do it.
I see that.
Yeah. but just do a lot more listening than speaking, because you'd be surprised how many people talk themselves in a hole. It's an art to listen, and a lot of people haven't mastered it yet. But if you just throw little things out there and listen for the rest, the story might be told right before your eyes.
Yo, that is facts.
That's balanced answer. Because we're all not perfect. We think we're going into this thing perfect. We build ourselves to this and we have all this and that. We ain't perfect. We done been through previous relationships and traumas. Like you said, the woman could have had a dad. Dad could have died, and that could have changed and dramatically changed her life. We don't know. Your dad could have died when she was like 5, 6 years old. What can you say then? Will you have a little bit more tolerance in that manner? Oops, sorry. So, like JR says, it's like we have to be more balanced as a people of color. We all have gone through, the bottom of the barrel, whatever. But that's the healthy way of establishing your boundaries and what your standards, and see if a person qualifies for you in a relationship. So that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
So White Pocket, let me ask you this, because I think that's what's wrong with our people. We throw out the white flag way too much. Black folks, we accept anything instead of having some type of high standards, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to higher our standards than what they should be. We shouldn't be just accepting any damn thing, all things. This is not a homeless shelter. We're not going to throw the white. It's cold outside. White flag. Give me your stick, your man, your non-well-being. No, we're not doing that, because I have a certain expectations. Everybody should have certain standards, and if this is what your standards are, then why fold? That's our problem. We fold way too much. Like, oh, okay, so he's got 3 kids, 3 different mothers.
We're talking about fathers. We ain't talking about kids.
No. I'm talking about that too. So, if her father did pass, right? For example, why did her mother remarry? What was the problem there? Okay, it's something in her DNA that I need to be concerned about. Like JR said, I'm all about interrogating the woman, finding out everything. So why did your mama remarry? What was it about her? So I need to see if she got some of these goddamn devilish traits in her. The reason why her mother didn't get married. Or what about her? Does she have any brothers, or uncle, or grandfather? What's going on with that? Why wasn't there somebody else that maybe mom was so selfish and put somebody else in her life? Or did she just divorce the daddy, like you said, and the relationship was bad and she never? But do you got some of these same traits? You know what I'm saying? Do you see that same way like your mother handled your father and not allow you to be in their life for whatever reason? Because you just want to be nasty and try to feel like you're paying back the father. So all of those things is very important to me. And I'm not going to lower my
That's
standards.
you. I'm saying, like, you shouldn't lower your standards. And that's what I said. That's what JR said. He said you should have your standards and be active listening, because who you allow in your life is very important. It's very detrimental, as we know. Moving forward, wherever you've been before, I can obviously hear from your past experience that you have upped your standards and put new things in place. I can hear that in your voice. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with that, because we want to do better the next time, right? We don't want to waste time. Time is precious. So that's why I like what JR said, because it kind of gave a healthier answer to as how you're going forward, interrogating in a better way, because you want a certain thing for your life, just as every man wants a certain, woman in his life, and he definitely don't want no drama, as least as possible, as least liabilities as possible, and I can definitely understand. And I
Yeah.
believe that a man, if he's in that mode of mind, he will be willing, as Precious said, to have the patience to deal with that woman, to honor that woman, and hopefully make her his wife. So I believe in all that encompassing, they will be able to step up and be patient enough for that woman that is worthy and qualified for that position.
And also, too, something to keep in mind, too, is that whenever you are seeking a relationship, or maybe you guys are leading up to that, you should be able to ask any question that you want to be able to ask. And if somebody hesitates, it's a reason why they hesitate. And there should be no reason why somebody's hesitating on a question, unless it's something that they don't want you to know. But I think a lot of people don't ask enough questions, and that's something that I didn't always know, but I've learned. You need to go deep with it, because you don't want to. It's almost like vetting. Asking questions is really vetting.
Yep.
It's really like a process of the vetting, and it may be a red flag, or it may be a trigger for that person if you ask them a question and they seem to be deflecting, or why you gotta ask me that? Why you being so nosy? If you're asking about finances or something like that, and it's let's go deep. There you go. But yeah, just don't be afraid to ask questions. I think we need to do that, and I think that may save us a lot of time. May not be able to solve everything, but at least it's a step in the right direction, and you get to know the person. You get to know the person inside out for the most part.
Sure, I can add a little bit.
Go ahead, Jen.
I'm gonna add like a kind of like another perspective too as well for women to look for. So a lot of times, women think they have a whole bunch of time and a lot of different things with men, right? But understanding men, you understand like the most patience you're gonna have with a man is when he's younger. When he gets older, all that shit is gone. That patience, they like, I ain't got time. I'm about to die soon. I'm trying to get to my coffin happy. You know what I'm saying? So when he in his early 20s, that's you're gonna get the most out of him because he feels like he has a lot more time. But somebody in their 40s and 50s, they're like, hey, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like
Only said it once.
Yeah, like I ain't got time to be playing now. You know what I mean? So if you want a man that if you know you got some issues that need to be worked out, you better get that man while he's younger, why he's not thinking about, you know what I mean, all this baggage that you have. He's willing to deal with you, and because he really hasn't seen the world like that already. You know what I mean? But once he see the world and he understand coochie is free out here, he gonna be like, it's gonna be harder for him to settle down. So just being real.
Hey man, I'm disturbed. James has put me in the grave already. I am very disturbed.
The question: do the men of today have patience to teach a woman? I think that there's only a small minority of men that do. I'm going to catch flack for saying this, but my opinion is that if the men of today look to the left and look to the right and saw women that they would want to invest time into, I think we wouldn't have quote unquote the hashtag passport bros sitting out there right now. So I don't think that the men of today in the majority have the patience to teach a woman.
So let me chime in on that one. I agree about the patient situation, but maybe for different reasons. I think some of the men today, especially what I get from these panels, are too invested in the fact that women are more promiscuous now than they used to be. Not every woman, but a lot of them are. And some of them can't take it. It's not even a matter of patience because they're not going to take the instruction you need to give them. And you'll be wasting your time. So you got to be able to vet that out. I mean, it's got to be, for example, let me give you an example. See, like, and I got this from Trey, and I agree with him. I think men should never pay for a date with a woman you just met. Never pay. Y'all go. If you ask a woman, I'll paint the scenario. If you just met her, right, and you hit it off, you meet her somewhere, you hit it off, and you say, hey, listen, I like what you doing Saturday night. And she says nothing. I said, well, you say to her, well, I like to, hang out. You want to hang out? I'll say just like that. She said, yeah. I said, but we got to go Dutch. Okay, you pay for what you pay for, and I pay for what I pay for. This way, we don't have no expectations. You don't have to worry about me trying to get the butt, and I'm not worried about you trying to use me as a foodie date. Now, here's the key why this is why I think this is important. If a woman says, yes, I'll hang out with you, even if it's Dutch, she's telling you something. She's saying she wants to hang out with you because there's something about you that she likes. Period. Not your money, not any of those things. She's going to spend time with you because there's something about you that she likes, and she's willing to go hang out just to see what that is. Now, it might be subliminal, but you got to be able to recognize that. I think the guys today can't recognize a good woman if she came up and slapped them in the face. because all the women look like pieces of steak to them. All they want to do is bang the hell out of them because women are banging. So listen, if I don't bang you, there's no sense in me talking to you. And that's why they can't get past it, because I keep saying this whole thing. There's a nature to women, and it hasn't really changed. It's just manipulated. Women have been unleashed because the bill started this, but the basic nature is still there. And guys don't spend any time trying to understand the basic nature of women. I mean, men is easy. Our basic nature is there. We crave getting laid, right? And then the only thing that's different for us is our level of discernment as we get older, as we understand what we have to lose if we take that box over that box. And there's a rare man who understands that, because we got literature and histories littered with men who never learned that. Literally, Bible everywhere. So when you learn that, you know, that you have a basic nature, you need to understand that you can only spread your seed, you know, judiciously, if at all. You know, and so I'm just landed here. When I was looking for my wife, and I didn't understand a lot of this stuff, I'm learning from these spaces. 6 to 8 months, I didn't have any kind of interaction with a woman I wasn't looking for to be my wife. So when my wife popped up and we had our encounter, I said, wow, maybe there's something here, because my mind was clear. I didn't have no sneaky links. I didn't have none of that stuff. So when she showed up, I said, wow. So the very first words I said to her, I still remember, and I don't think there's a day that passed that we haven't talked to each other in 36 years. You know, but I don't think men move like that now. I mean, you know, some do, but I'm just saying, because when I hear, and I can't really take it from these spaces, but so many men are caught in red pill rage and all this kind of stuff. And here's the thing about women. You guys are taking too much Johnson, because every single woman has trauma. And every time a woman talks about trauma, I say, well, you know, y'all guys are stroking too much, because every relationship is not supposed to leave you broken. Every woman's talking about, I have trauma here, I got trauma there, because you're stroking too goddamn much. You know? And so, anyway, I mean, you know what? I don't know. I'm bouncing around the place, but I think some of this stuff, we complicate things because naturally, men and women are supposed to be together. We're the only mammal that's having trouble understanding that we're cleaved to each other. We can't get away from each other. You know,
RP, I don't know about that date, man. I don't mind going on a date. I mean, usually if I'm going on a date, I'm the one that like initiated. I'm gonna have fun regardless. If it don't go nowhere, just don't go nowhere.
But you're in a different space, JR. I'm talking about some of these young cats, because you know a lot of them talk about dating, and the first thing they talk about is that they're worried about being in somebody's phone as a foodie date, right? Because that everybody saw that scenario about the Cheesecake Factory person. I wouldn't have talked to her no more. I would have called her Uber and I would have told her, get the hell out of my car. Get out. I might have paid for the Uber, depending on how far it is, but I'm not driving you back home. I don't even want to see you no more, goddamn.
That was actually that point right there, our pain was one of the additional things I would have added to my point as well. I think that more as you get older, you kind of become more aware of the stuff that is happening out there. So more guys are seeing a lot of the bad stuff that some dudes are, you know, going through, being foodie dates and things like that. So they're starting to have a lot less patience because of that type of awareness.
But here's the thing though, and I don't know what happened with that situation. I don't know if it was a skit, but you guys, okay, but you guys should be communicating before the date. I don't just take anybody on a date. So if I make it to a date, then that means that you have advanced, because I just don't go out with anybody, you know. But if you make it to a date, then that means that we've communicated long enough for me to be able to have a comfort level with you to be able to take you out, and you're worthy of that date. So there's some communication that's going on beforehand. And then if I decide to take you out, then I decide to take you out. I don't think it has to be too much thought. I mean, typically, if you're just trying to take somebody out without having a conversation, then that's when you run into those situations where you just had a bad date. It's like you didn't screen it well before, you didn't vet it properly before, because not everybody is worthy of a date. And you can kind of weave it out just by communicating. A lot of people don't know how to do it. You're not asking the right questions. You're not engaging, and you're not going to figure out everything. But at least if you made it to a date, I think you've advanced slightly. And then maybe I may be able to learn something, getting you out of element. I'm seeing how we're going to interact in person. I'm seeing if the chemistry is there. And then from that point on, then we'll see if you get another date, or it may be something else. But if you meet somebody on the fly and you're already out, then y'all just mingling. So I just don't think.
Let me throw this out at you, because I know where you're coming from. Because until I heard Trey say this, I usually pay for the dates too. But that was back in my day when women were worthy of being taken out like that. So even though I don't care about the money, right? A woman has an expectation that you're going to pay, and we do that if you're a gentleman. But but why should they even? They should earn that expectation. This shouldn't just be given to them anymore. Not the women of today, because I don't think they appreciate that enough of a guy going to his pocket. Because when they start to, and this is just these YouTube streets, and there's too many of them who are saying this. When they came out with that list, saying these are the only restaurants that you're allowed to take me to. I know that's just a skit too, but I think too many women actually think that way. You know what I'm saying? So listen, if you want to hang out with me, let's hang out and let's talk, even if we talk before. Are you willing to hang out? You can pick the spot. If you're willing to hang out with me and we don't have to worry about me paying or you giving me any box that night, then that's a better conversation than I have to go ahead and shell out some money for you, because who are you? Who are you that I have to shell out money for to just to be with you? And that's automatically, I think that dynamic has to change today. That's the one dynamic.
Mr. Arcane, I like how Kevin Samuel said one time. He's like, if you don't want the assumption of that a woman or whatever, that there's some sex going on, go out in the morning, go out for lunch, go out for them coffee dates. Like, keep it small. You know what I'm saying? Why? And also, like Heek was saying, like, if you that dude, be that dude. You know what I'm saying? Stand on your principle. If you that dude, if you rolling, if you the one that always pay on the dates, whatever, be that dude. So if it doesn't work out, she's the one that messed up. She's the one that fumbled. She's the one that missed out on you. So stop trying to dumb yourself down in that way. You be that dude because she missed out on that opportunity. So there's no loss to you, but it's a loss to her because you know that you're a good dude and you know how you stand. So if you're gonna be that way, we need more men to stand on that. Don't get corrupted and everything, even though we know that there's stuff going on online. But how are we gonna find traditional men? How are we gonna identify you as a good man if you flip floppy and wish washy? Be that dude. And that chick missed out. So there's nothing wrong with that. But take the context of taking her out from the nighttime and bring it to the daytime, because that's the expectation. At night, okay, what we doing after this? Okay, lunch. Okay, lunch. Okay, see you later. And then maybe we'll continue more. You know what I'm saying? So
listen, let me clear something up though. I agree with you. I am that dude. I've always paid for the dates, but I had a budget for dating. I think I'm the only guy who did. I mean, even through my younger years, going through college, I had a certain amount of money that if I put up money on a date or two, and I couldn't get past for home plate or first base, I never went out with those women again. And it wasn't one size fit all. If I liked you, the budget was a little bit bigger. If you were a smash, I was trying to get away with it for free. I mean, the whole 9 yards, but I was really strategic. And I carried that through my adult life. And so I never really worried about paying for dates. But these new cats today, man, they all talk about how they're so scared of being used.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, even with me, I don't have a budget. I don't limit it to date. I just, whenever I go out, this is what I'm gonna spend. So whether it's with a woman, whether it's with my guys, this is just what I'm gonna spend. And I already have a set amount of what I'm willing to spend when I go out. And as you level up, this I mean, they said some change, to be honest. You ain't really spending that much money. And I understand, but as you keep elevating, as you keep putting in the work, like $100, $150, $200, $300 ain't shit. It's really not. It's not inconveniencing me. And if I don't like the date, then it's just like I just won't deal with you no more. So I'm not putting too much value in spending this bread, because I was going to spend it regardless whether you was here or not. We might go out and I might just be like, man, don't sweat it. I'm paying for everybody's bill tonight. And I'm not saying fast $600, but I'm just saying if I go out with the guys, that's just how we roll. So even the people I surround myself with, we move a certain type of way. So it's more so her coming into my world and me not adapting to whatever it is that she's trying to bring. It's like, look, this is me. I'm gonna do me.
Right.
Well, can I speak on a couple of things? One, I just want to first say, some of what I was saying earlier was true, but it really wasn't entirely. In reference to, I ain't going out and fight nobody for nobody else's wife. No, I ain't even really talking to
Plans to
wives.
resign? Excuse me. Let me tell you something.
Unless they're like a sister to me, I ain't speaking to nobody's wife like that anyway. But what JR said, I want to really emphasize that because I think it was glossed over. Before you even go out on a date, you need to qualify. That needs to be really emphasized because that's what's missing often. The intentions aren't going out on a date or getting to know somebody or being qualified to take them out because you're interested in them. There's a lot of other intentions, and I call that out on both genders. The intention get a male or intention, whether it's to get the cheeks. All of those intentions need to be a little bit more. We need to be a little bit more honest about it. And so to your point, what was that?
Oh, my bad. I was gonna add this one little small thing. Honestly, us guys, we know when we're dealing with a high maintenance woman. So if you have an issue with spending money like that, just don't deal with those type of women. You can just tell how she dressed, how she's looking, and she got all them damn swirls on her forehead, hairs.
Not the swirls.
James, you absolutely right. And to that point, but a lot of women are superficial, and so are a lot of men. And they're meant for each other. And we need to identify those people as well. You're superficial. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but that's what you are. And let's be clear on it. We keep on trying to act as if we're not. We keep on trying to act like some of these men and women are not. And they are. They're superficial. If they didn't have money, they'd be nobodies. If they didn't look good, they'd be nobodies. And so let's just be clear on it. Let's just identify that. And if that's who you like, so be it. Be clear on that. But if you don't want that and you sitting there saying you want somebody that is opposite that, but yet you keep on going for that because that is what your superficial ways allows you to do, then let's be clear on that as well. And we often just are not honest, period, on both sides. And that's kind of what, when I say confront earlier, that's why I use the word confront, because the truth is confrontational, whether you like it or not. The truth is confrontational and always will be. It doesn't have to be combative. Just finished listening to a sermon where that was preached again, and I believe it wholeheartedly. So when I say words like confront, if you're taking it combatively, that's on you. You need to change that. You need to confront that.
Yeah, and just to add on with Sean too, is that a woman can kind of sense what that man will do, right? And that's why it's important for you to be able to lead a certain way. Some men lead with money. Some men lead with money. It's a certain type of energy or aura that you have that a woman would know not to try you or try to do you a certain type of way. It's like you're a man in that. If you're on a date, that's your date. It's gonna go however you want it to go. And depending on how you act and how you conduct yourself, first impression is everything. If she sense she got a good one, she gonna try it with you. She gonna see how much you're willing to spend. She gonna see how much you would do because you already, you may not realize it, but if you know that she's this 10 or 12, however you look at her, and she's used to getting somebody, that's how a lot of men treat her. But you got to look at them as just every woman is the same. Everyone is the same unless you show me anything different. No matter how you look, because you'd be surprised how many fine women are insecure. And that's why you got to look them directly in their eyes. And depending on what you're looking at, they're going to get uncomfortable because that very thing that they insecure about, they're going to wonder if you're staring at it. You may not, most people don't see it, but that's why you got to always look them in their eyes when you speak with them. Always speaking to their soul. Talk to them. Be comfortable. It's just a human. They came out as a human, and the world has been validating her. But you can look past that, and you can just see the person for who she is. But you got to be able to. You just got to. I can't explain it, man. I'm just telling you. Just don't be timid when these women come around you. But some men are not comfortable being around beautiful women, and I understand that. But they just humans at the end of the day. We all humans. We all get old and wrinkled and fall apart. Stop putting them on a pedestal. They're regular.
Regular schmegler. Okay. Did everybody answer this question? Do the men of today have the patience to teach a woman? Sean, look now.
What are we doing, Sean?
You've been cloned.
White Air Force One Sean and black Air Force One Sean.
I think you're right, King. They both showing up tonight.
Sean, this is not a Fugazi movie you pulling on us like you did with them statements you made.
It's the interim. One's standing in the interim for the other one.
Damn. That's funny.
All right. Go ahead, Hank.
Precious, I was gonna say that one of your, I guess your chat members, I don't know what you call them, it was asked a question. What's her name? Marcy.
That's my friend.
Okay,
it's probably this one. Is it this one?
Yeah.
I had it starred. Go ahead.
So she wants to know. So a woman is not worthy due to a lack of father. Yes, you're not worthy, not to me. So if that's your question for me, no, I don't think you're worthy enough. If you don't have a father figure in your life, a grandfather, uncle, or some type of mentor, to me, no, you're not worthy to me. Now, again, I'm going to turn you over to the Shans, and he will accept you. He will reform a hoe, revamp a hoe. Bring a hoe back to goddamn life, all I know. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to have nothing to do with you because you don't respect and love a man. Now, I don't know why your father's not in your life, and I feel bad if it's for something tragic. But if it ain't because you was mad at your father because he held you to a certain standard that you didn't want to live by, then that's on you. Then that means I can't do the same thing. If your own father couldn't do it, what the hell I'm going to do with you? Here you go, Sean. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Hank. I need that right there. Pass the Dutchie Wonderland.
I can't.
Hank is off the chart.
So are we done with this one? With this question, there's one more after this, but I just wanted to make sure everyone got an opportunity to answer this one. We're all good?
I think we're good on this one.
All right. Mandrell, how are you this evening?
Hey, Precious, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing good, thank you.
Now this is the dude that come into your store 5 minutes before closing, and he showed the fuck up.
That's so funny, man.
Hey, as long as I've been MIA, hey, you still gonna give me grief, man. As long as I've been MIA, Hank.
No, but
I've been around. I've been around on any platform.
Bartender hates that. Don't come up in the bar 5 minutes. I'm shutting the bar down.
Man, can I have a half rack of ribs?
They want a well done steak from the grill.
Yeah.
I don't eat steak well done. I don't eat steak well done. I don't eat charcoal. Okay, I eat barbecue, but not charcoal.
I've seen it done plenty of times.
I don't eat well done
Applewood
steak.
Smoked.
Right.
Well done steak. There's no point to eating that. There's no point to eating well done steak.
No, you're right about that. But thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Question, so you can chime in on this one, and then if you want to watch the playback to listen to Sean, be the interim husband, you can do that. But the next question is going to be.
Okay, so okay, Precious, I see you.
I got a message. We go way back. All right, what must a man give in order for a woman to receive instruction from him? Because men are givers, women are receivers. And so what must a man give? And R. Payne touched on this earlier on in the show, if anyone was listening to it, but he definitely gave some things that men give and that women do to receive. He was the first person to answer about teaching a woman how to be his wife. But what must a man give in order for a woman to receive instruction from him?
That D.
No.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Wow.
Oh, we know, Sean. We know what you giving. Okay.
Wow.
Mandrell, since you just joined, how about for you?
Wow. Wrong answers, both of you. Good Lord. Here's the thing. And the thing is, a man can't teach, number one, to the topic, a man can't teach a woman to be a woman. You can't do that. The only thing that's not possible, unless you're a gay, but that's a whole nother ball of wax. There's a whole nother whatever. But the only thing a man can do is tell a woman. Exactly. I mean, the world's going to hell in a ham sandwich. Shout out to JR, by the way. So what I'm saying, my thing is, okay, you can't teach a woman to be a woman. You can't do that, fellas. Don't even try. Okay. So what you can do is, if you're courting her or whatever the case may be, or in a relationship, you can tell her what your do's and don'ts are, your deal breakers, the whole nine, and leave it there. Leave it for her to execute. If she chooses to execute those and respect your boundaries, so be it. Then move forward with the relationship and see where it goes. If she chooses not to do that, okay, everybody get that same pain tolerance. You're going to tolerate what you're going to tolerate. Hink is not one to tolerate much, as you have seen on these panels. So his barrier of, his threshold for pain ain't that high. So you ain't got much room with him. Okay, other guys, it varies, people, ladies. But I mean, the thing is, you have to give him, he has to give you respect for one. You know what I'm saying? In order to receive respect. But oh no, you can't. Only thing you can do is say, hey, I'm not okay with these things here. These are my deal breakers. In order for you to give her that, you got to know yourself and know what you're going to tolerate. You have to know yourself first, fellas. That's what that phrase, put yourself first, that's a part of that. You don't know yourself, you didn't take time to learn yourself, then, I mean, you lost before you started. You don't know anything. You walk around these relationships half-cocked. So, I mean, we all know that's a no-no. So, yeah, the D, that's got nothing to do with it. She can get that anywhere, fellas. Okay? Probably better than yours. We can talk ourselves up all we want to, and we might be putting it down. Yeah, we might be, but I mean, that's a dime a dozen. Why would you tout that anywhere in your top 10? Okay, that's easy to find. They're finding plenty of that. And, this whole thing about hypergamy, they're not really hypergamous. It's not for real. Look how many professional, really good women have babies with ain't shit dudes. Highest honor you can give a man, she gives it to a guy who's unworthy of her, which devalues her in the eyes of many men. They don't care about that. They still have the babies anyway.
I don't care.
You know what I'm saying? So where's the hypergamy? She had a baby with a guy who's clearly not at the top. And you say she's hypergamous. No, and also there's nothing wrong with being hypergamous. We're hypergamous. We go for the best thing out there. We said it's not okay for the woman to do it too. It's self-preservation. Everybody's going to go and try to get the best thing they can get.
Hey, man, black men are not hypergamous. That's our problem. Too many black
men. And the thing is, I mean, if you fellas, and people get at me about being so picky and selective as to who I date, but I don't care. I am selective I'm selective for a reason. I don't sleep with anything because not every woman is worthy of me. I care about myself too much to just sleep with anything. Maybe some of you fellas should adopt that philosophy too. You come out better.
How do you know if a woman is worthy of you?
That's up to you to decide, JR. How much do you value yourself? What do you want for yourself? What kind of woman do you want by your side? You meet a woman, she's not that. Okay, cool. Nice knowing you. Let me go find what I'm looking for.
I'm calling HR on you. I'm feeling personally attacked tonight.
Hey,
well, you know what's funny? You know what's funny about what you're saying? When I said the D and someone else said it, I think we were definitely joking. But the unfortunate reality is that a lot of women will settle for that.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
And so while we're joking, it's really not. It's a joke that a lot of people settle for that. A lot of women settle for that, and it's unfortunate that they don't value themselves more so, as Mandrell was just speaking of, and it's not really something that we can teach them. We got to value ourselves a little better, to his point, so that maybe by example it can be taught. But we don't value ourselves. We just want to give the D. We don't got nothing else but the D at times, or money. So if that's the only things that we're leading with, as JR said earlier, then unfortunately we're training and we're perpetuating the problem.
Don't put that on men.
But here's the thing, RP.
No.
Like it takes, and I'm using myself as an example. If I reached out to a woman or approached her in any way like that, yeah, I see something special in that woman. Know this, lady, you're valuable. If I reached out to you, because I don't settle for second best. I don't settle for second tier women. I don't. I'm 45 years. I'm 45 years old, man. I don't have time for that.
What's a second tier woman?
Second tier woman?
Let me guess. It's up to me.
You asked me, so it is subjective. It is a subjective answer now. I mean, so you asked me what is my opinion of a second tier woman?
Your opinion, what's a second tier woman?
Okay, a woman who's combative. Everything got to be an argument. I miss some super fly women, but they just like the back and forth is just ridiculous. Okay, so it's stuff like that. Like, okay, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you over something small. And people who sweat the small stuff, like, okay, ego, you left a sock on the floor or something like that, and that irritates her, like really gets under her skin. I'm like, yo, it's a sock. Put it in the hamper.
Okay, combative. What else? Second tier woman.
Oh, short-tempered.
That's all similar. What else?
Second tier women? Oh, really materialistic. No crickets. I just gave it to you. Really materialistic.
That wasn't me. That was Hank.
Oh, okay. That was Hank. He's gonna give you crap all the time, so I ain't even worried about that.
Yeah, he got a soundboard now. The People Network got him a soundboard and a mic. That's why he sound much better tonight.
Oh, okay.
He's not second tier anymore.
No, you're not hearing that feedback you normally hear.
Like I said, that's a long list. You know what I'm saying? That they could be second, third, and fourth tier women, and
I mean, we're waiting.
Women who just don't.
We're waiting for you to give us the gravy on this
Give us a list, Mandrell.
So,
I agree with Mandrell because you need standards. You got to put people
here's
in different
women.
categories.
Bottom line is the women y'all talk about and complain about. Those are women I don't approach and don't talk to.
I'm hearing you two talking points right now, Mandrell. Come on.
Yeah, the YouTube talking point shit. I don't talk to those kind of women. So when I hear people talk about them, I'm like, where do y'all meet these chicks at? They're not in my circle. Those are second tier women. I just don't. No, I don't see them.
You can't expect me to take you seriously.
Okay, you don't have to. But I hear them. I hear guys complain about them all the time. And we have a woman here, White School Podcast, who seems to understand what I'm talking about. Guarantee you, Precious. She's a woman. She understands what I'm talking about. Y'all got only people who having problems understanding me.
You know how you are because this. You act like men act like, or people act like they've never been like a Dollar Tree person. You know what I'm saying? You act like you ain't never done some crazy stuff that nobody should have rocked with you with. So obviously you did some work on yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Better. So
That's
you're not that person like you used to be. So I wouldn't have chose you if you were standing in front of the Dollar Tree. Now you moved up. Now you're doing better. You cleaned up. You made some of your life. That's the guy I want. I don't want the other lame-o. You know what I'm saying? And then I get mad because that's my choice because I chose the lame and had all those things with him when I should have chose better.
Thank you.
And that's what Mandrell.
The fairy tale. Tell this woman thank you for bailing your black ass out.
No, the fairy tale of a guy of a guy of a higher class swooping in to, like she said, a Dollar General, a Dollar Tree, and seeing the chick working the register. He's gonna take her seriously. No, he has to bring her around his colleagues and carrying on. They're gonna ask, what do you do for a living? What charities are you a part of?
What are you talking about?
What groups are you a member of? Thus and so. If she ain't got the answer, they're gonna look at her like, oh, okay. Then they're gonna look at you. Wait, you brought her here? Yeah.
So
Okay.
Precious. let me
Okay,
ask you a question.
so okay.
My question is, we just heard what Mandrell just sit there and spew out, right? We heard this bullshit.
Okay.
But I was wrong for sitting there saying, I'm not dating no woman with a father figure or father period at all.
I never said you was wrong for that.
No, I
never said you was wrong for that.
Mandrell, calm down, brother. I didn't say you said that. But there's some people on the panel felt like I was wrong, and people in the chat felt like I was wrong.
Think you are rather strict though, brother. Let's be honest.
I don't give a goddamn. I'm 48 years old. I got that right now.
You do. At 48. You do.
James put my black ass in the grave in about 2 more months. I gotta give it while I can, man. So
that's why you hear me debating you, Hank. I'm like, you're 48. I can't argue with you. You've lived long enough to where you've earned that right to be selective. And you should be selective. I think everyone should be. Everyone should be selective. This whole thing about hypergamy, I'm like, take that off the board. It's nonsense. Everyone should be. Why aren't you? Why aren't you? James, dating a marriage, you were hypergamous when you selected your wife. You were, and vice versa.
I wasn't using those
you
terms
were
back
hypergamous when
then.
you selected your wife. I don't understand it. I'm just saying. I don't understand what the issue is. I don't understand the argument.
Yeah, let me tell you. Let me say this: the rank and file black man
University
is not hypergamous, and that's one of the problems we have.
Why is that? Why are they not hypergamous?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because our women are fatter than every other woman in the face of the earth. That's why. If we were more hypergamous, the women that we have would compete more for us. They don't. They eat cheese doodles and stuff. So, as a fat guy, this whole epidemic, let me tell you, if you look at across the diaspora, I'm going to say this. If you look across with other races of women who compete for their men, they tend to be in better shape. Our women don't give a shit. Right? And if men were hypergamous in the black community, our women would be in better shape.
I don't think
because they will give a shit. We accept the box as it comes. We don't give a shit. And we got a lot of men that don't give a shit. And I mean, and we can sit down here looking incredulous on this goddamn panel, and we can watch our communities crumble with all the guys just putting the Johnson in any old thing with all these fatherless babies. You can't have it both ways.
Okay, so is it that the women don't care, or is it that men
standards are so
jumping in?
low? We just started talking about standards for men on these. I came to YouTube's talking points, and a few men started talking about men should have standards. And that's that. If the one thing that you hate, Mandrell, that the manosphere did was start to tell men that you got to have standards. That shit is almost a new phenomenon.
How is that new? I've been doing that my whole life.
They don't talk about that on talk shows and all that kind of stuff. Until these YouTube streets, a lot of men didn't sit down and say, you know what, we got standards. We got to start having those. And if we're gonna say we failed our women, that's one of the reasons why we failed them.
Okay.
Because hey, listen, Six the Goddess came out. I'm gonna finish here. She came out and she was on this podcast and she said, listen, a guy coming out of jail or who's downtrodden, he'd go for the fat woman.
What?
Because she'd be more willing to take him on while she's nursing his ass back to some kind of semblance of whatever. And the women attacked her unmercifully on that goddamn path. And she was right. I mean, she's right. She said, yeah. She would say, well, you need to soft shoe her. She says, no, you're fat, bitch. And you need to lose weight.
What?
Yeah, but
she just turned everybody. If you know Six, she's just like that. Now, I mean, I'm heavy, I'm fat, but let me tell you this. I don't listen. I wouldn't. Well, I'm losing a lot of weight, but let me tell you this.
But you're 109 years old.
Oh, really? I'm trying to get me a 10.
But you're 109 years old.
Give me a 10.
What now?
Fat women, they might be a 3, and they think they deserve a man making $200,000 a year. We've been on these spaces, hear all
Now
these
that she's a
crazy
three,
ass
now that
women.
she's a
They're
3
crazy.
Arcane,
They're
there's no
delusional.
way. There's no way.
That's what we're
Anyway,
seeing,
so
Mandrell. That's
You
what.
don't.
That,
Okay.
that's what.
Here's
Yeah,
what you
but those are
do.
the women you don't pick and you don't focus on. Who
Right.
cares about them?
Right. King Smith.
That's the point.
Here's
And then you're overlooking all the good women that are trying to put their head down, doing what they need to do, and like, hey, me, oh, look at that fat woman over thinking she's a 10. You're like, hello, what about me?
I
So
leave those
I don't
women
pay attention
right where
to.
they are. I leave those women right where they are because that's a level of narcissism I'm not willing to
you're
deal with.
proving my point, man.
Like,
Drill. We
here's
need
the
more men
thing.
doing it.
Because here's the thing.
We
As
need
many
more men to do that.
I get, but here's the thing. As many compliments as people try to give me, I pay them no attention. I'm like, I say thank you and I'm grateful. But I'm looking like this. Like anybody, other people have done what I've done. Other people have done more. I'm trying to be a billionaire. It might not happen.
Nope.
But holy shit, my point is there's always another level to make. There's always another goal to reach. There's always someone else who's achieved more than you. So what makes me any better than anyone else who hasn't come to achieve what I've achieved? Nothing. And this whole thing about having standards, maybe it's because I had a father in the house and a whole theme park full of uncles my whole life, is why I've had standards my whole life. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe not. I don't know. I think it is, but still.
We got to talk in generalities. Talk anecdotal, right?
I'm talking about
Most
like
black men
nothing
don't have standards, and we need to learn that. I mean, we can keep talking about your individual life and all that stuff. Most black men don't have standards, and we're just learning that now, and they're starting to get them. And it has hurt the community because we accept anything. And that hurt the women. If you want to blame it on the men, that's one way we've hurt them. Because they don't have nothing to shoot for if the guys don't have no standards. That's what I'm saying. We take women any way they give it. How many men turn down the trim? You know, any kind of trim.
Huh.
No, so stop it, man. Yo, listen, man. If we
Not
don't
about you, Mandrell. It's not about you.
But you got an example right here, Precious.
This is why we're moving on because we've been
Precious,
with
I'm
you for
awesome.
the last 15, 20 minutes. Okay. What must the man give
You the man,
in order
man.
for
You
a
the man.
woman to receive?
I like
sexual
because I debunk all of it. I'm just like, people say this all the time. How many men have done this? I'm like, I have. How many men have done
Mandrell, you got to
that?
pass the mic. Mandrell, you got to pass the mic, though.
Mandrell, I'm just so happy you're here because you took the heat off of me.
Now you got
and I'm just
hey, look, I'll take it. Listen, I'll take it. Bottom line,
We'll
fellas.
go to James. We'll go to James.
Gotta pass that mic.
What must a man give in order for a woman to receive instruction from him?
I will go with the same thing that your boss does at work, that you are able to receive that instruction. So that's why a lot of times I talk to women. I'm like, hey, if you can't listen to your man, how can you listen to your boss? So that's one of the things that kind of help open them up to make them start thinking, because a lot of women, they really don't think about this. They just thinking like it's just supposed to just come natural, and I just supposed to just fall in line and agree with everything he has to say. Because a lot of times women think because the man is not leading the way they want to lead, that he's not a great leader. When it's totally opposite, because if he thought just like you, he wouldn't be in that position, right? Just like how you think you can be a better leader than your boss sometimes. A lot of times when you get in that position, you fall or you fail. You know what I mean? Because you're thinking that, oh, the boss is doing this. You're just seeing it from your lens, but you're really not seeing it from his lens. So that's why it's important for you to show your woman what you're doing so she can understand the male's perspective in this lifetime. So when she's out there in the world, she understands what men go through, and that'll give her a better understanding of all the decisions you have to make. So just like my wife, like a lot of times I have to explain to her certain things while I'm doing some certain stuff, just so she can get that better understanding of, okay, I see why you came to that point. Sometimes she might not agree, but at the end of the day, when it becomes successful, she'd be like, oh, okay, I see what you did at. You know what I mean? So it's all about that thing. And then now that develops trust. And then now that helps build the bonding relationship.
Okay. I like that. What must a man give in order for a woman to receive instruction from him? Actual King Smith, did you go on this one?
No, but my answer is very similar to what James stated. I got called finicky very early in my young life, and that's one of the things that stuck with me. And as I'm older, I realized that not having a clear vision for the person who I was dating at the time, when she called me finicky, I can look now and see that that relationship wouldn't have worked because she saw me as somebody that wasn't stable. So to answer the question, I would add that, you know, clear guidance, clear instructions is what a man can give in order for a woman to receive instructions.
Clear guidance, clear instructions. I like that. Lapeef, JR, did you go on this one?
I think
Bruh. He's got a new toy, man. That's good.
I think King actually words out my mouth, man. I was just gonna say being able to make a decision. So I'm not sure if that's similar to what you said. Is that something what you were saying, King?
Yep.
Yeah, being able to make a decision. I think a lot of people are afraid. And I've always, just to add on to it, I've always said that you make a calculated decision every time you get the chance and opportunity to, and being able to stand on it, because the beauty of life is that you're able to correct whatever mistakes that you make. So even if you thought it was going to go that way, don't be afraid of it not going that way, but still being able to rebound from it and still keep it pushing. So just be able to make that decision, even when it comes to taking it out or when things come. Don't stall. Just make that decision, and I think that you will be okay. So that's all.
Thank you.
And can I jump in?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna
a lot of people. What was that?
I said I was gonna just hit my thing because the JR said it. I think a man should just assume leadership in his relationship, man. If the woman's following, she'd follow you. You know, just take it over. Don't be asking. You know, when I hear men say, "Hey, listen, you know, woman allows me to lead," my ears bleed when they use the word allow. Right? You're either leading or you're not.
Save. I can't stand to hear it.
Sean.
Yep, I can't stand to hear that. Oh, she allows you to? Okay.
Oh man, a lot of people touched on it, but I think what's plaguing us is really the word trust or trusting. We have a real difficult time trusting people. Some of the stuff that was triggering earlier when I was speaking is because us men, we don't always trust. And so when I was talking about talking to your lady, you don't trust the fact that I'm just talking to your lady. You think that I'm trying to get in her panties. So that's a form of trust. And women don't trust men because a lot of the traumas that they've been through. And now we don't trust each other because of all of these talking points on social media. But it has been there for a while. We just have a platform that is highlighting it and even sometimes conflating it. But it really, if we take all of that away, it still boils down to trusting or the lack of trust that we have. A woman will follow your lead if she trusts you. If you gave her the opportunity to have her trust you, she would follow. She will be submissive. Unfortunately, climbing up that hill, to Hank's point, what he said about me earlier, I try and climb up that hill to get trust in folks and people, men and women both, but it's a hard hill to travel. And I'm starting to lean towards, you know, I listen to Hank all the time and I'd be like, Hank, you got a point there. I might be, and he says, come on, welcome to the other side, Sean. And we joke about it, but there's some real truth to it because it's really a difficult process to reestablish the trust within us Black folks with one another, both men and women, again, men to men, woman to woman. It's just we have a hard time trusting. That's why we don't have a lot of great businesses, because we need to trust. We don't trust to be able to do business with a lot of people. We fail to think. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, I got a question, like to Sean. Well, really to the women, because Sean, you brought up something that's something that's been brought to my attention that I've noticed here as of late. All right, to the ladies, I think that when it comes to Black women, that you guys let your traumas dictate, your past traumas dictate your future actions, as opposed to simply learning from the mistakes. You know what I mean? Like you might see a guy who does something similar to a guy from your past, but this new guy is going in a completely different direction with it. But it scares the shit out of you, so you run or assume he's going the same direction. I was like, okay, what is that? Ladies.
I've always said that women are cyclical, right? We literally have cycles. And men are more, you guys have more foresight, you guys have more vision towards the future. And so going forward doesn't scare you majority of the time. Going forward doesn't scare men because it's what you're born for. You're born to go forward. Y'all could have God knows how many kids, y'all could birth a nation in one day. Okay, y'all could just plan them from here to Alaska. All right, just go on a spree doing it. Women, we can't do that. We can't do it at all. We do what we do in cycles. Even when we're younger, right? You guys play cops and robbers and hide and go seek and things like that. Little girls are playing house. Who cooking? Who cleaning? Who changing the dog baby pamper? And we're doing that over and over and over and over again. And so then you get a distorted view of what relationships really are. While relationships do have their seasons and their highs and their lows, you shouldn't be going in circles. You shouldn't be having this 30, 31 day cycle of we good again, we bad again, we good again, we bad again. No. So for women, we need men because you guys help us see the forest past the tree. Like you guys help us see the future. And women have to break out of that cycle or cyclical way of doing things because it's a pocket of comfort there for a woman. It's a pocket of comfort. That's why when she does get her something, she's like, yes, I got it. But when she don't get it, she's like, oh my God. Trying to throw herself down the stairs, doing all types of stuff. Because she don't know what the future gonna bring with that. She doesn't know if that man gonna stick around. She don't know. Because she hasn't prepared for it. You guys prepare. Most men prepare for the future. A lot of women don't prepare for the future. And so it scares them. They don't get correct wisdom and guidance about the future. And so it scares them. They'd rather do the same things over and over again because they know what hell that brings instead of starting something and failing or being with someone and realizing, they're the one for me, but at least I learned some things. At least I won't do that again. No, women will continue to do something over and over again because they know that there's comfort there. Whereas men, they're like, oh, nope, I'm off this, on to the next.
Can I ask right to what you just said? I had a conversation with both my daughters this Thanksgiving about women and foresight. And my 24-year-old, has certain things that she thinks about life. And I said, well, the way you think now is not the way you're going to think when you're 45. And she was arguing with me. I said, listen, you got, all your biological and all your choices are with you now. And I can guarantee you that when that door closes, you're not going to think the same way about your choices now that, when you're 45. You're going to have a different life because the door is going to, you won't have those options that you have now. So I said, you got to have a little bit of foresight. We had that kind of conversation and it got to it. And then we talked about men covering women and why they need to be covered, right? Well, why do we need to be covered? I said, because you need the security of not just from a protection thing of having a man who cares about where you are and how you need to navigate life. I said, right now, I got to do that for you, right? And even though you don't know it, but I got to do that for you. When you're at work, I need to know you're there. I need to know when you come home. My other daughter doesn't live with me, but she's not married. And I told her, I said, I'm covering you too. She went out of the country, right? And she didn't leave. She didn't tell me where she was going. I said, well, you gotta let me know where you're going. I said, I don't care who you going with. Well, I did. She's going with a girlfriend. I said, where are you going? Where are you staying? And when you coming back? And I said, the reason why I'm asking you that is because I need to know what trail, if you end up missing, I need to know at least enough to find you. I said, that's why. I said, that's why you need to be covered. Because I need another man that I trust to cover you so I can go to sleep at night. You know, I had that conversation with them a couple of times. They started to get it. You know why? Because my wife came in and she gave them a story of a 91-year-old man covering his 70-year-old daughter who's not married. He's getting groceries. She's sick. He's still trying to buy groceries for her. And he's 91.
Wow.
You know, so because he can't sleep, because he's still worrying about his grown daughter. You know, so I mean, you know, I definitely don't want to have that situation. And the only saving grace is if it keeps me alive to 100, maybe that's the one good kind of thing. If I gotta worry about y'all and I'm still alive at 100, that's something else. But it's, you know, I still cover them. And a lot of women don't get that. They just don't get it because they don't think they need it. It's not true. You know, because women need, I'm gonna end it here. Women need men to give order to their chaos. Period.
Yeah. That's what
Wow. And that goes back to the point that Hank made earlier. Without a father figure, it's a dangerous journey to travel. If you deal with somebody who hasn't had a father figure in their life, it's a real dangerous journey to travel. Because what you just gave, the insight you just gave, and the pushback you got is with a father. Imagine the pushback you're going to get from those who don't have that or don't have you.
Yeah. Hank, did you go on this one? What must the man give in order for a woman to receive instruction from him?
No, not yet, but I can real fast. One of the things is, as a man, you should be consistent. You should definitely be consistent about the things that you want and expect, not only for yourself but for that woman. That's very important. Because if you show any sign of consistency, now she's questioning. Now she's wondering in the back of her mind, does she need to have an exit plan? She's wondering in the back of her mind, do I need a rainy day fund? Because this dude is so all over the place, so erratic about his thinking, his movement, his actions, and his decisions, to the point where she has lack of trust. And it might be something not that you're not, you're not like her cheating or doing something wrong, but you're just making a lot of questionable decisions, and now your decisions are constantly being made with bad intent. And now she's not totally aware of what's going on. Yeah, you leave in the dark about things. Yeah, that's not good. So be consistent. Make sure she's aware of what's going on. That's another thing where you could be teaching her, training her, and showing her what's going on and have an idea. So, like you said, like Payne said, if anything goes down where I'm not available or I'm not, mobile, I'm no longer here, the ball can keep rolling. So just be consistent as far as for me.
There used to be a cheer back in the day when the football team would play, even the basketball team played. They be consistent, be consistent.
Shout out to them cheerleaders.
All
Precious,
right,
I'm going to get in here. Okay.
Go ahead.
So what I need a man to be, all right? He has to be that man. I really respect a man who is confident in who he is, even if he's like, soft, whatever he is, he's like not out there avert, extrovert, or if he's introvert. Be who you are and be authentic in that and be real with it. Don't be fake. Don't be putting up no mask or whatever. I like a man who's authentic. I like a man that stands on principles. I like a man that has vision. A man that is assertive and that says, like Pink said, if he says you're going to do something, you do it. Because women, we going to be looking. We're going to be remembering, the elephant don't forget. We're going to be watching everything. because we're essentially electing you to lead us. We are electing you to cover us and take us through the rest of our lives together. So I need to know that I'm making a good choice too. It's not just you're making a good choice. We've gone past that point, but I need to make sure, like our pain, he needs to make sure that his daughter is being transitioned to a good, stable man. Um, and I just would like to see him proactive in his life, being fully functional. Like, yeah, I can listen to that dude. I can iron his pants and hem his pants up because I sew. So like that's not a problem. So if he's showing up for himself, loving himself and the way he's carrying himself, I have no other choice but to just get in line because I love and admire who he is as a person in his essence, in his strength, in his assertiveness in his own life. So I can get down with that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
And her DMs are XXY777. You can reach her at
All right, is
My
everybody
DMs are kind of dry.
If so, we're gonna go over to final thoughts, but I want to make sure everyone got a chance to speak on this last topic. Yeah. All righty, so we'll go around with final thoughts. We'll put King back up here so we can end with you. And we'll start with Uncle Hank, and then we'll go over up to the Wife School podcast, over to Peep JR, and then we'll end with my co-host, the actual King Smith.
Well, my final thoughts is, fellas, it's still November, so it's Mental Health Month. So make sure y'all need to do what you need to do to get your mind right. So if that means you need to get on somebody's couch or somebody's Zoom meeting, do what you need to do to get your mind right. I encourage men to go get their prostate checked, go get their colonoscopy, make sure your A1C is in order, and get your full physical. Blood, diabetes, blood, heart disease is two of the most biggest killer amongst black men. So do what you need to do as far as your physical. Make sure you do what you need to do as far as taking care of yourself. Eat better, exercise, and do what you need to do. And I put the challenge out there on my show before, but I'm going to do it here. I challenge everybody, if you can afford to financially, go out and get a couple of angel trees. So those things that they give at the Salvation Army that you usually see at your local malls and everything. Get one of them angel tree kids and pick something out for them guys, and take it back to the mall and return it and allow to bless a young man or young lady or both. I challenge everybody on this panel. I challenge everybody in the chat. Give back, and if you can't do it monetarily, do it with your time.
Mm-hmm.
Find in your heart to give back. Do what you can.
Thank you so much, Hank. I appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to go over to our pain.
What did you say, Hank? Angel trees?
Yes, sir. Angel tree.
Okay. Okay, so where's this, like any mall might have kids like that? Where you going?
Yeah, usually at any mall, it's through the Salvation Army.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so final thoughts. I mean, it was a good panel. Thanks for having me up. Like I said, I just think that no, a man can't tell a woman how to be a woman, but we certainly can give her instructions how to deal with a man. And I do believe that some of the things that women need to learn in terms of being feminine and being women, they need to learn from other women. If this is the one plug, if I'm gonna say, for my channel, I have like 13 videos, and I keep putting new ones out. Let the women tell it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have whatever the theme might be, I shut up and just let the women say it, and that's how I end it. They're real short, 5-10 minutes, or some are real short, and some of them are pretty good. But women are starting on these streets, right? TikTok, YouTube, wherever, starting to say to women, "Hey, not that way, this way." Right. And I think it takes courage for women to do that, because their so-called sister code needs to be cracked. But a man is not, we can't crack it. We can only move on and just eliminate those kind of women who don't want to fit into our program. And so that's where that's coming from. So once women start to, the women who are looking forward start to get an upper hand, then I think we'd all be better off. And men have to take care of themselves. We got our issues, and we need to fix those. You know, and one of the things is more discernment in what we do from a sexual standpoint, and that's a big deal. And it's not that easy for men to turn that down. Not just black men, any man. You know, I think people take that for granted. You got to get to a certain level of discernment to make a decision. This one and not that one. And if I do it, here's the ramifications. You know, so a lot of men don't say that when there's a willing woman. It's just not that easy. We think it is, but it's not. Anyway, I'll land it there.
Sounds a little bit like guard your meat, right, King? We'll go over to Sean. Thank you, Arpain. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here. Sean, we're going to go over to you next.
All right. First off, thank you for having me. Good to see you all again. I haven't been here for a while. Pardon my distraction on some of the stuff that I was speaking earlier, because I didn't mean to misspeak, and I might have double talked because I was a little distracted over here. So just giving a heads up on that. But some of the stuff that I did say, I stand on in reference to being more honest, being more trusting is something that I will continue to emphasize, because I feel like we continuously, it's absent from our community, us as black men and women, pretty often. I praise a few of the men up here. Actually, all of the men up here. I actually give y'all all praises because each of you individually helped me to give me some definition on a well-grounded man. Your pursuit, what you stand on, what you consistently speak about, whether we agree or not, doesn't negate the fact that you stand on what it is that you say. And that's a very rare quality in our black communities. So I always enjoy sharing the stage with you guys. And whether we go back and forth or not, including grooming too, even though he ain't a black man with us, but he's still also somebody who I enjoy his position as well. So with that being said, let's just practice on being a little bit more open with each other, a little bit more transparent with each other. The honesty, I think we're getting a little better at, but we're still a little reluctant on being open and transparent, because being open and transparent leads us to be vulnerable, and nobody likes being in that space of vulnerability. No one feels safe, and that's often where the lack of trust comes from. And so when I say all of that, it goes right back to that same principle and point of being able to trust each other a little bit better, so that we can have better relationships amongst our community, amongst each other. And that's not just romantic relationships. That's friendships, man to man, woman to woman, especially woman to woman. Y'all tear each other down a lot worse than anybody else on the face of this earth. So, you know, I just want to continue to assertively go after that. And that's why I have some of the conversations that I have. You know, straight talk leads to straight understanding is the motto and show that I stand on. And that's just how I feel, whether it's to a man, a woman, or a child. Straight talk leads to straight understanding. And I'm learning to be a little bit more conscious and maybe a little bit more pleasant to the air at times, depending on who I'm speaking to. But again, I don't know how to do that well, and I'm not going to try and practice it, especially at my age. It's hard to practice. I'd rather be straightforward and be hated than be, I guess, disguise myself and be loved. So you can hate me for telling you the truth. You can love me for telling you the truth, but I'm going to try and tell you the truth in anywhere and everywhere. And I challenge or confront people, challenge them to do the same. That's my final thought.
All righty. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate you for joining. Thank you. Thank you. Andrell, we're going to go over to you.
Yeah, great panel. Thank you for having me again, Precious. It's good to be here. Just stepped off of a flight and got home, saw you live, and like seriously, like within 10 minutes, I saw you live. I was like, and I was listening to it as I was like unpacking. I was like, you know what? Let me weigh in on this. You know, so I still got to unpack and all that shit. So,
Make
but
sure you're
anyway,
unpacking.
okay.
Cause you know how you had that bag, you know, you traveling, you just like, dang, I gotta unpack this bag. And it be sitting
Right.
outside.
I was sitting here. That's what made me just go ahead and come up here. I was like, I don't feel like it. But anyway, yeah, man, you can't teach women to be women. It's not in us to do that. That's not possible, you know. But be very selective. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 20 years old. Be very selective with who you lay with, because you know you might end up laying with someone, and yeah, that might last a while, 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so. Then you end up leaving that with something permanent that you can't get rid of. It could be an STD or a baby. So if you're going to have a baby with someone, make sure it's with a person that you can see yourself raising a child with. That's an 18-year commitment, whether you want it or not. So the last thing we need is more Black children in this country with no fathers in their life. We see the results of that. Don't be that. Don't be a chicken shit. Don't be a coward. You get a woman pregnant, nut the fuck up, get 3 jobs if you got to, put all the stuff you want to on hold and on the back burner, because it ain't about you no more. It's about that child. Okay? Take care of it. But ladies, just because one guy or 12 guys screwed you over, don't mean the next guy's going to. I get it. You go through it. I see it. And I even talked to my sister about it. I said, listen, I understand why you would want a job over dudes out here. You told me you wanted you'll take a job with the money over a guy. I understand. I don't want that for you, but I get it. The thing that the guys you ladies have to select from these days, I feel for you. It ain't easy for us either, because we got to deal with the backdraft and the trauma that you guys go through with those knuckleheads. But holy shit, ladies, I see it. You know, but just take it easy on the next guy. Give the next guy the benefit of doubt. Be fair about it. Otherwise, you could end up robbing yourself from a fantastic experience. You know, learn to take chances. Learn to take risks. And if you're going to commit to something, go in with both feet in. Because 1 foot in, 1 foot out never works. Because you guys, I mean, everyone's done that before. Everyone's been in a relationship where they're all in, the other person's half in. It didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Both people got to be in. All cards got to be on the table. Otherwise, don't bother. It's not going to work. Holy shit. How many times I got to say this? But anyway, take these lessons and actually learn from them. I don't know why I keep doing this. But yeah. I guess that's it for tonight, Precious. I'll tune in next time if you have me, and I'll let you stage then too. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
And JR, one of these days, whenever you invite me to come on your show, I'll come up there and show them how it's done too. Okay? You're muted, by the way, JR. You're muted. Yeah, by the way, JR, remember this. All you gotta do, man. All you gotta do is be smarter than your equipment. That's it.
God damn.
Just be smarter than your equipment, JR. That's all.
All right.
Yeah, one day you'll invite me over there, and I'll show you how.
Oh yeah. I got you, man. I got you.
We're gonna go. Thank you, Mandra. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We're gonna go up to Wife School Podcast. Thank you so much for being here, love. What are your final
I
thoughts?
had to chime in and I was getting ready for it. I'm gonna get on there. I'm gonna take a chance. Thank you for having me, Precious, and all beautiful men. Nice to see you guys again. I'm just gonna have a whole bunch of sayings because my mind be running. To the women, I know we think we're all that. Yes, you are beautifully and wonderfully made, but you have to do the work necessary necessary to become a better woman, whether that be, going to therapy, getting in the gym, all those things to become the best version of yourself. Um, it's nobody's job, it's no man's job to make you happy. You have to do that for yourself. Also, nobody is going to save you. And this is true. You have to save yourself. The best way to do that is to create those opportunities for yourself. And you got to go to therapy. You got to do the work. You got to take accountability. You got to consume content that's feminine based, that's wife based, that's spiritual, based on how you're to fulfill your duties as a wife in a relationship. So you have to be proactive, and it's just no other way around it. You have to stop getting in the bed with people. Take a break. Your mind's so messed up, your emotions so messed up because you've given yourself to so many people, and you have no clarity of mind. You're not even moving with intention. You're just finding yourself, as Precious said, in a cyclical freaking hamster hill, not moving forward. And that's just not the way to be. All right. Be modest. Put some clothes on. You just think people are here for sex. Yeah, they probably might be because you're showing them everything and everything. You're not protecting your virtue. And the little bit that you do have, if there's any, cover it up. All right. Um, and start choosing better quality men. And and for that to even happen, you have to elevate and be a better quality of woman. Because as we have heard in the panels, men are stepping up their standards, and there is nothing wrong with that because on the other side, they have a lot that they have on the line. They're covering you, they're protecting for you, they're providing for you, and they want to look up and see somebody that's qualified for that position. Um, and also, as we all do, that we need to do, but especially women, take accountability. Don't run from it. Embrace it. It's only going to put you in a better path that you're seeking.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And again, I appreciate you for being here. Definitely join whenever you see that link drop, girl. There's room here for you. All right, Lakeith Jr., your final
Thank
thoughts?
you.
I'm just gonna keep this short. Just take the time to learn your personnel, the person you with. I don't think a lot of people. I think we often listen to what everybody else is saying on YouTube and getting advice from other people. But if you take the time to actually learn the person that's in the house with you, then I think that you might be able to get a long way. Learn how to communicate better, and just stay positive.
Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Alrighty. And now we have the actual King Smith. Your final thoughts, sir, and then we're going to get out of here.
There's opportunities for growth in every aspect if people are willing to get that growth and take it in and then mold it to whatever it is that they need to do. One of the things I hear Mandrell say often, and he even said it today, was he goes, "Why do I have to keep saying this?" And Mandrell, I'm going to raise my hand and tell you, I was one of those guys that just simply, when I was younger, did not get it. We all have the fact that we're a little bit older and have more wisdom, to us now, but there's still people that are around our age that don't get it, especially when we go and look younger. You see a lot of those guys aren't getting it. And some of that is, in my opinion, a symptom of the fatherless homes, not having really good guidance and mentors to guide men so that men can have a stronger foundation so that they can look to their left and their right and then bring into their household what it is that they want. So while Precious and other people offer these different type of panels like this, I just challenge people that, may want to add something to their toolkit to check this stuff out, seek mentors, find like-minded people that are or people like not looking at our pain as he's the example, but this brother's been married as long as I've been alive, right? So he's got some stuff there that he can offer. Not everything's gonna fit me, but there are things that are there that can help, guide you to get you to where you want to go. So thanks for doing this, Precious. I hope that you continue to offer these, and I appreciate you allowing me to come on and co-host with you.
Of course, thank you. I appreciate you. Couldn't do without you. So I really do appreciate you guys all spending your time being here, because you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to be here. And
Precious,
that'll
can
be
I
it
say
for
one
tonight.
thing before you? Can I say one thing
Yes.
before you give your final, real quick?
Mhm.
I kind of like the way, not like, but I'm starting to notice that we're talking more about fatherless homes than single baby mother homes,
Mhm.
and I think that's the way the narrative needs to go. That the issue is that there's fatherless homes. It
Mhm.
already implies that this single mother is raising them, but that's not
Mhm.
really where the problem lies. That's the situation we're in. But the fatherless home is really the issue for whatever reason. We don't have to go into that. And I'm
Right.
liking that the narratives are starting to say that, because it's a recognition that these kids out there need fathers in the
Yeah.
home. And I'll end it there. That's probably a whole podcast at some point. But anyway.
Yeah, it is. I done jotted it down in my notes. Okay. Put it in my notes. But on Thursday, if you guys don't know, I have a Patreon, and on Thursday we're going to be doing a live Q&A. I have them monthly at the end of each month. So this is actually our second one. So if you haven't joined, this is for all members. So all members can join these live Q&As. And on Thursday, we will be talking about how would you vet a person that is interested in you. I get people who ask me questions all the time in my DM, and I'm like, join my Patreon. I got things to do. I can't just be sitting here going back and forth with you. So this was one of the questions that someone submitted, and I said, you know what, I'll use it in my Patreon, and we'll go through it. And so all you got to do is sign up for my Patreon. The link is in the description of this video. I believe King also posted it. But it's pretty much a place where we can be hot, honest, open, and transparent. A lot of people don't have people to talk to that are unbiased about what they're going through, or maybe if they just have questions just like this, where you can gather with like-minded people who don't mind keeping it real with you, who don't mind being vulnerable and open and just having the conversation. You don't have to be on camera like we are right now. It's not mandatory. But it is mandatory that, if you want to get better, you do have to invest your time. And so that's what we're going to be doing on Thursday at 7:30. So I'll be dropping the link in my Patreon pretty shortly about that. So if you guys want to join, definitely, like I said, the link, I think you posted it in the chat, King. And then it is in the description of this video as well if you want to join the Patreon. But what I will be doing on the Patreon as well is putting exclusive content on there that won't be on YouTube, or it won't be on my TikTok or Instagram pages and things like that. So if you want to catch that exclusive content where I'm just pretty much just keeping it real about things that I see, things that need to be talked about, that'll be on the Patreon as well. So definitely click the link. King just dropped it, so you guys can click that. But I appreciate you again for your time, for your contribution, for your insight. I like to have these panels to gain understanding. We don't know everything, we're not perfect. And I think that when we have these panels, we just gain a little bit more insight about the topics that we see on social media, bringing everyone together. And I love that the Wife School podcast joined, because I usually have the men, but the women are welcome to come as well. Just make sure y'all behave, because if y'all don't, y'all getting kicked out. I don't have time. I don't have time for the foolery. So as long as y'all behave, we can have a good conversation, respectful conversation, move the needle forward, but we're not going back. So I appreciate you guys. Y'all know what I say. Keep it real with yourself so you can keep it real with others. Have a great evening, guys. Bye-bye.